9 and on the SiriusXM app.
Get ready for the 2025 NFL Draft on SiriusXM NFL Radio.
With the first pick, the Tennessee Titans select.
We caught up with the top prospects as they get ready to start their careers in the NFL.
Miami Hurricane quarterback Cam Ward.
My journey's been unbelievable.
And hear pick-by-pick coverage of the 2025 Draft from Green Bay starting April 24th at 8 p.m. Eastern on SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88 and the SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
CJCL Toronto. This
Slams a ball to right field, way back, way gone!
Is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Low rounding and heading for second to throw. In time!
On the Sportsnet Radio Network.
One of the great pitchers of this century goes for the Blue Jays today as we see the 200-game winner, three-time Cy Young Award winner, Max Scherzer, take the hill in a Blue Jay uniform for the first time. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Rogers Center in downtown Toronto. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host today, Nick Blackmore producing, Austin Mackey and Tom Young, our technical directors. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Halifax and Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986, so protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. The Blue Jays and Orioles have split the first two. Max Scherzer takes on Dean Kramer today, and we'll see if it's more of the day 2 Blue Jays offense or the day 1 Orioles offense that has the advantage in this one. A highly anticipated first pitch is coming up in just a couple of minutes, so don't go anywhere. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans.
What's up, baseball fans? Thank you so much for coming back and hanging out here at Toronto Sports Insider for every single game of the Blue Jays season, this 2025 season. You're home for all things Toronto sports right here on TSI. It's finally here, opening day for our Toronto Blue Jays. Tonight, our Jays kick off the 2025 season with a matchup against the Baltimore Orioles at the Sky Dome. After an offseason filled with roster moves, expectations are sky high. All eyes are on Jose Berrios today as he takes the mound, the ace of our Blue Jays staff on opening day.
Special spring rust protection offer. Visit your local Crown Rust Protection Center.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Find your location at timbermart.ca.
I'm Katie Nolan, and I have a new podcast called Casuals. It's a podcast for people who like sports a normal amount. Casuals is a twice...
What's up, baseball fans, Blue Jays fans? What a day we have today. Mad Max Scherzer is on the mound for the first time as a Toronto Blue Jay. We're so glad you're here hanging out with us. Please take a second and smash that like button down below. We only hit 100 likes yesterday on the Blue Jays' big win, evening this early season series against the Orioles. Let's get the victory today. Let's get some run support like we did yesterday, but today for Mad Max, and let's have some fun in the chat. Don't forget, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you don't miss it when we're live for every single Toronto sports game. We're live today, yes, for Toronto FC at BMO, the Blue Jays here at the Dome, and the Leafs out in the West Coast, out in LA tonight. And oh yeah, March Madness, we got both of those games too. Speaking of, we'll see you back in there. Go, Blue Jays, go. Let's get the victory today, boys.
depending on every pitch, and he kind of leans into that and then talks about, like, yeah, you feel it and you react to it. And that's kind of what you see with him out there, whether he's pacing around the mound or showing emotion after a big out or a big strikeout. And then when he's in there, just a totally different guy. Loves to have fun, but I think just very deliberate with every conversation, whether it's me, Pete, players, conversations, the first 2 games in the dugout.
That was Blue Jays manager John Schneider talking about his starter today. The future Hall of Famer Max Scherzer takes the hill for the Blue Jays in Toronto. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Thanks for tuning in for Game 3 of 2025. Both the Blue Jays and Orioles have won a game so far in this series. And Chris, it is a huge treat for everyone in this ballpark, including the players for the Blue Jays, to get to watch Max Scherzer take them out for Toronto.
Yeah, I mean, you can feel the excitement in the stadium. There's just so much to take in with Max Scherzer. This is a guy who made his debut in 2008. He's 40 years old, and he's still getting it done. A huge addition to this rotation. If he can stay healthy for the majority of 2025, he is going to be a big, big part of this team. Just having him in the locker room, in the clubhouse, on the plane is big for the younger guys. I am so excited to see Max Scherzer pitch today.
Scherzer getting in his warm-up pitches right now. Before we get to the game, let's take a look at the Bet365 standings. At Bet365, you can bet live in-game on game props, totals, and the money line. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19-plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Right now, the Yankees and the Rays are 1-0. The Yankees soon to be 2-0, but have to wrap up a win over the Brewers. Everyone else, the Orioles, Red Sox, and Blue Jays, all 1-1 in this young 2025 season. Let's take a look at the lineup, starting with the Orioles today. Left fielder Colton Cowser leads off with a DH. Adley Rutschman hitting second. Ryan O'Hearn at first base batting third. Jordan Westberg in the cleanup spot batting fourth, playing second base. Center fielder is Cedric Mullins. He'll hit fifth. In right field, Heston Kjerstad bats sixth. Hitting seventh and behind the plate, Gary Sanchez. The shortstop, Jackson Holliday, bats eighth. Third baseman Ramon Urias hits ninth. Dean Kramer gets the start today, and his opponent, Max Scherzer, who just got the ball back from Ernie Clement, and in that deep royal blue Blue Jays jersey, is walking up the back of the hill. White pants, blue jerseys, blue caps for the Blue Jays today. Gray pants, orange jerseys, black helmets for the Orioles with an orange brim. You can feel the energy right now as Scherzer looks into the plate, gets into the wind, kicks and delivers, and the first pitch is down and in, ball one. Time of the first pitch, 3:07 Eastern, another day with the roof closed here at Rogers Center. The 1-0. Swing and a fly ball center field. Racing back, Lucas at the warning track, and that ball is gone. Dead center field. Colton Cowser sends it out, and the Orioles with a home run to start the scoring for a third straight day, 1-0.
Well, that was a really good swing from Colton Cowser. Just a 92-mile-an-hour fastball right down Broadway, and Colton Cowser puts a good swing on it. We talked about Cowser yesterday. He's a guy with a lot of pop, 24 homers in 2024. You can't just groove a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Max Scherzer trying to get a strike there, but unfortunately, Cowser puts a good swing on it.
Scherzer looking to rebound into the wind, deals to Adley Rutschman. Called strike, 0-1. For Max Scherzer, the mix is a four-seamer, slider, changeup, curve, and cutter. His 0-1. Swing and a fly ball, shallow left center field. Lucas ranging over toward the gap, makes the catch. And that's the first out in a Blue Jay uniform for Scherzer. 40 years old, from St. Louis, Missouri, drafted in the first round by the Arizona Diamondbacks in 2006 out of the University of Missouri. He deals to lefty hitter Ryan O'Hearn. Called strike at the top of the zone, 0-1.
Max Scherzer is officially making his 458th career start today. That is incredible.
nearing 3,000 innings. The 0-1. Fastball just inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Really established himself in the early 2010s with the Detroit Tigers. Won a Cy Young there. Made a run to the World Series with the Tigers, where they ultimately lost to the Giants. The 1-1. Fouled back 1-2. And then he exploded after going over to the Washington Nationals. Back-to-back Cy Young Awards in 16 and 17. An all-star with the Nationals from 15 to 19, 5 straight years. The 1-2 in the dirt, 2 balls, 2 strikes. And he captured a World Series title with the Nationals, his first in 2019, before getting another one with the Rangers in 2023. Stops with the Dodgers and Mets sandwiched in between. 2-2. Swing and a ground ball right side. Backhanded sliding stop. Guerrero throws overhand and it gets past Scherzer and up the line. Throw back to Scherzer. They apply a tag and O'Hearn is out. He ran through the bag but turned left initially. Great job by Kirk backing up the throw. He gets it back to Max Scherzer, and in a roundabout way, there are 2 down.
Well, that's just heads-up baseball from Alejandro Kirk. Backing up Max Scherzer. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. put a little bit too much zip on that throw. Max Scherzer obviously had a tough time, but staying on that bag, realizing Ryan O'Hearn took a quick left turn. As soon as you make an attempt to go to second base, you're allowed to tag him, and the Blue Jays with the heads-up play right there.
Pitch down to Jordan Westberg with 2 down. Called strike. There wasn't much of a protest from O'Hearn. You could clearly see he just took 1 step left, and he knew it because he dashed back to the bag, but not in time.
I think he was more disappointed with himself.
0-1 pitch is hit well left center field. Schneider going back, so is Lucas, and that one's left the yard. Home run Jordan Westberg, and the Orioles double their lead. It's 2-0 Baltimore in the first.
Just a little backup slider from Max Scherzer. Another hittable pitch right down Broadway, and Jordan Westberg hammers that thing into the crowd in left center. That's a pretty good swing. 2 good swings in this ballgame so far for the Baltimore Orioles.
We saw them golf 6 home runs out of here in the first game of the series. Hit 1 yesterday, already 2 more today for this powerful lineup. So 2-0 Orioles, 2 outs top of the first. And Scherzer deals to Cedric Mullins. Called strike. Mullins, a left-handed hitter. The center fielder swings at the next one, hits it foul. 0-2.
And like I said in that first game, when the Baltimore Orioles start to get comfortable, when they start to get big, you have to establish the inside part of the plate. I expect Scherzer to do just that going forward.
Scherzer winds, glove overhead. The 0-2. Down and in, couldn't get Mullins to chase. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now the 1-2. Swing and a liner caught at first by Guerrero to end the inning. A couple of solo home runs for the Orioles. Cowser and Westberg have given Baltimore a 2-0 lead middle of the first. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center.
Spring is here. We are all happy to see winter in our rearview mirror. But did you know that spring is a red zone for rust? The combination of leftover winter road salt, increased precipitation, and warmer weather are a perfect recipe for corrosion. Protect your vehicle from rust today by visiting your local Crown Rust Protection Center or book your appointment today at crown.com. For a special spring rust protection offer, visit your local Crown Rust Protection Center.
Talent is just the beginning.
Glad he launches one.
Strength alone is not enough.
He's one of the best hitters in baseball.
Skills are not given. They are honed, forged.
Guerrero Jr. is ridiculously hot.
Relentlessly refining. More than a hitter, a master of his craft. A silver slugger. On Monday, March 31st, the first 15,000 fans will get a Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Silver Slugger bobblehead. Find your seat at BlueJays.com. Lights up. Let's go.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
He makes the catch, and the Blue Jays win the ball game.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
2-0 Orioles, bottom of the first inning in downtown Toronto. Dean Kramer winds and deals to Bo Bichette, who fouls off the first one, 0-1. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. 2-0 advantage for Baltimore, built on solo shots from Colton Cowser and Jordan Westberg. The 0-1. Kramer takes it high, or puts it high and outside. Bichette takes it 1-1. Dean Kramer, 29 years old, 8-10 last year with a 4.10 ERA and just under 130 innings. His 1-1. Check swing, pitch down and away. He went around, says home plate umpire Ryan Addington, 1-2.
It's a pretty good pitch from Kramer there. A little cutter that looked like a strike and then kind of dotted out of the strike zone.
His 1-2, hit foul off to the right. A liner screaming into the seats. It's Ryan Addington behind the plate. Ryan Wills at first. Lance Barksdale, the crew chief, at second. And Will Little at third. Kramer, 6'2", 210, into the wind and the 1-2. Swing and a line drive right center field. Sinking and down for a base hit. Fielded on a bounce by Kjerstad. Bo Bichette claps his hands in triumph. He's got his third hit of the season in 9 tries.
How about that inside-out swing from Bo Bichette? I said this yesterday. When things are going well, he's able to take that pitch and hit it the other way. Bo Bichette with another inside-out swing, and that's how you win a batting title right there. Bo Bichette's looking good so far this year.
Don't see a lot of emotion from Bo. That big clap over at
business,
first base.
all business.
That's kind of big emotions for him. He's leading off first. The pitch to Vlad Guerrero Jr., called strike. This first inning is brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Armstrong Bird Food, the reason birds fly north. Feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. Guerrero bats from the right side, a little bit open stance. And the 0-1. Called strike 2, 95 right at the knees.
Yeah, his arm looks pretty good right now. Usually doesn't touch 95. But that pitch right there, down and away, a tough pitch for Vlad.
Kramer kicks, fires, and misses up and in. So it's Bichette at short leading off today. Guerrero at first batting second. Santander on deck. He's in right field. Andres Jimenez will hit cleanup and play second base. Alejandro Kirk, the catcher, bats fifth. DH Will Wagner hitting sixth. The 1-2. Swing and a screamer to right center. That's down and rolling toward the warning track. Bichette around second, headed to third. Guerrero stops at first with a long single, and it's runners on the corners for the Blue Jays. Nobody out.
And how about that? 2 inside-out hits in a row. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. took that backup cutter from Kramer and just hit it the other way. Such a good swing. 2 really, really good hitters. And how about another one coming up in Santander?
He's waiting in the batter's box right now with Gary Sanchez, the catcher, giving defensive signals to his infield. Just to round out the lineup after Wagner, DHing and hitting sixth. Davis Schneider, the left fielder, seventh. Ernie Clement at third base hitting eighth. And Nathan Lucas in center, batting ninth. 2-0 Orioles, first and third. Nobody out for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the first inning. Kramer's pitch to Santander, up and in, ball 1. Anthony had his first 2 hits as a Blue Jay yesterday, including a rocket single that came in the first inning, banked off the wall in right field. The 1-0. Upstairs again, 2 balls, no strikes.
There's a big hole on the left side of the infield. Jackson Holliday, the shortstop today, is shaded way towards second base, almost up the middle. And then Ramon Urias is just playing normally where a third baseman would.
Maybe to keep Bichette a little closer to the bag at third. 2-0 pitch, hit off the end of the bat, foul. 2 balls, 1 strike. That was a curveball from Kramer. It was also a curveball out of the hand of Charlie Morton yesterday that Santander hammered off the wall. He stepped out of the box for a moment, back in there now, taps the far corner of the plate, and wheels around the bat to above his left shoulder. The 2-1. Fouled right back, just missed an elevated 94-mile-per-hour heater.
Wow, he just missed that one. 94, a little bit elevated. You could see Anthony Santander was right on that, fouling it straight back. You don't want to throw another pitch right there.
Santander asks for time, adjusts his white and blue Adidas batting gloves, and steps back in. Guerrero on first, Bichette on third, nobody out. The 2-2. Fouled right back again. That was 95 down the middle, but in protect mode, he just fought it off.
Yeah, the difference with that pitch, though, it was a sinker, and it had a little bit of movement on it. Started in off the plate and ran back over the middle. If that was a four-seam fastball at 95, I can guarantee that Santander would have made good contact on it.
2-2 again. Swing and a liner. Right field. Down for a base hit. Bichette had to wait. He'll sprint home. Up to second base. Vlad Guerrero Jr. hit by the throwback into the infield. But it's an RBI single for Santander. The Blue Jays make it 2-1. And they have runners on first and second with nobody out.
Well, Santander was a bit fooled by that splitter down in the zone. Maybe below the strike zone. But he was strong enough to stay back and muscle that thing into right field for an RBI and a base hit. Blue Jays are cooking here.
Now a mound meeting between Gary Sanchez, Ramon Urias, and Dean Kramer. You mentioned the splitter. That was a pitch he introduced last year instead of the changeup. Got great results on it, allowing hitters to only hit 139 against it with a 248 slugging percentage. He has that, his four-seamer, his sinker, a cutter, and a curveball.
Well, that split finger that he threw to Santander actually was not a bad pitch. Like I said, Santander was able to just keep that bat back and flick his wrists for a base hit. But that just shows you the type of hitter that Santander is. Strong enough to do that. Most hitters can't do that.
Santander on first, Guerrero on second. No outs, 2-1 Orioles, bottom of the first. The pitch to Andres Jimenez. Called strike. Jimenez 2 for 8 to begin the year with a home run and 2 RBIs. Also has a walk. The 0-1. Swing and a fly ball. Deep left field. Racing back Cowser in foul territory. He'll make the grab. Guerrero tags from second, headed to third. He'll dive in head first, and Santander all the way up to second as they both tagged on that ball that actually was caught in fair territory deep in the corner out of our view.
Well, that was such a heads-up play from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He kind of faked Cowser out in left field. He made it seem like he didn't want to tag and go to third. Cowser threw that ball back into second base, and as soon as Cowser let go of that baseball, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. took off and took third base. Anthony Santander is at second base now.
Alejandro Kirk at the plate hits a fly ball to right center field, medium depth. Guerrero tagging at third. Kerstad, the right fielder, makes the catch. Vladdy coming home. The throw going into third. Guerrero scores. Santander to third. And this game's tied at 2 on an Alejandro Kirk sacrifice fly.
Well, how about that speed? Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Anthony Santander showing their speed on the bases. Alejandro Kirk with the good job getting some air underneath that baseball. He knows what he has to do with a guy on third base. Less than 2 outs. Get something in the air deep and you'll score a run.
And the base running savvy of Vlad on the previous play makes that play because you can't have a sac fly if Vlad's on second. 2 outs, runner on third, Will Wagner up. And the pitch. Called strike. Two teams doing it very different ways in this first inning. 2 homers from the Orioles, 3 singles, and a sac fly for the Blue Jays. It's 2-2. The 0-1. Fouled right back, and Wagner behind. No balls, 2 strikes. 20 pitches so far this inning for Dean Kramer. 3 hits and 2 runs allowed. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Got him on 96 elevated, but the Blue Jays strike for 2 runs on 3 hits to tie the game. They leave one on, but it's 2-2 going to the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
They are going to the Sweet 16.
Hear every game of the men's and women's NCAA tournament on Sirius XM. Listen to Westwood One's coverage on your radios and on the Sirius XM app, so you don't miss an upset or a buzzer beater.
3 for the win. It's good. It's good. It's good.
To find game channels, go to SiriusXM.com/sports or search March Madness to hear Westwood One's coverage on the Sirius XM app.
They lead wire to wire. A thrilling finish.
March Madness, where every second
A 16 has beaten a 1.
matters.
A frantic finish.
Listen to Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app. Deliver every buzzer beater and bracket buster. Plus, College Sports Radio Channel 84 is reacting to the madness throughout the tournament.
This is a legit Final Four contender.
For the analysis, the insight, and the passion of March Madness, it's Sirius XM College Sports Radio, Channel 84 in the car, and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Out of here! Go hey, Ohtani Connect!
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy basketball to getting you ready for the NFL Draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
We begin our quest for another championship right now. Winning is everything. It's it. It's all there is.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app. Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and always on the Sirius XM app.
The second inning is presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Scherzer deals to Heston Kjerstad, who hits a towering pop-up back of second. Andres Jimenez swimming his arms in the air to call for it, makes the catch on the right field turf. 1 down.
Well, I can almost guarantee that Kjerstad wants that pitch back. 90 miles an hour with that fastball from Scherzer right down Broadway. And he just hits a little pop-up to Jimenez at second base.
Four-seam fastball velocity has been a little bit down for Scherzer today as opposed to spring training when he was a little more 93, 94. He's thrown mostly 90 to 92 so far. His pitch to Gary Sanchez. Inside, ball 1. Season debut for Sanchez, longtime Yankee, has bounced around a ton since then. Joined the Orioles on a 1-year, $8 million deal this offseason. The 1-0. Just missed outside, 2 balls, no strikes.
And Gary Sanchez has never been a guy that really hits for average, but he's always been somebody that can run into one if you leave one over the middle.
2-0. Off the plate outside, 3 balls, no strikes. When I think about Sanchez, I still think about that 2016 brief rookie year he had. He almost stole away a Rookie of the Year award as the 3-0 hits the zone, strike 1. In 53 games, he hit 20 homers and drove in 42 for the Yankees in 53 games. Finished second in Rookie of the Year voting to Michael Fulmer of Detroit. The 3-1. Called strike again, full count. Just challenged him there with a fastball down the middle.
Yeah, I don't know what you're looking for if you're Gary Sanchez. You're in a fastball count, a 3-1 count early in this ball game. Max Scherzer throws you a fastball right down the middle, and you kind of just let it go. You got to scratch your head if you're Brandon Hyde.
Fans getting loud for Scherzer into the line. His 3-2. Called strike 3. Dropped the cutter in at the top of the zone. Sanchez thought he had first base instead. He'll walk back to the dugout. 2 down.
Well, that's not where Max Scherzer wanted that cutter. He wanted that thing down and away, but he'll take that every single time, a little backup cutter. And again, if you're Gary Sanchez, you at least have to try to foul that pitch off.
2 outs, and Scherzer faces Jackson Holliday. The pitch. Swing and a foul back. 0-1.
Let loose on that one. 93.4 miles an hour. So it's in there. Maybe he's like Kevin Gausman where he's just getting loose.
Just heating up. It's early. 40-year-old starter into the wind. His pitch home. Called high. Looks pretty good. Scherzer took a step back towards the mound. He was surprised on that one. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Scherzer, the future Hall of Famer, against 21-year-old Jackson Holliday with 2 outs and the bases empty. The 1-1. High, 2-1.
And you can see what their game plan is for Jackson Holliday. That's another fastball up and in. The first pitch was inside. They tried to come up and in there. Missed arm side high with that fastball, but there's obviously a hole there for Jackson Holliday.
The 2-1. Swing and a miss. They went on the inner half again, and he missed that cutter. 2-2.
Yeah, they're not letting Jackson Holliday get those big arms extended. They're going to try to tie him up all ball game. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to come inside again here.
First time that these two have ever faced, although Scherzer faced Matt Holliday plenty, Jackson's dad. Matt was 1 for 10 off of Scherzer's career. The 2-2. Just outside, ball 3.
Well, I could be wrong, but I think Max Scherzer and Matt Holliday are the same age, right?
I don't have Matt Holliday's age.
I'm just joking.
But it honestly
I don't think they're the same age.
It's not that far off. 5-year difference. Holliday 45. The 3-2. Swing and a ground ball to first base. Funky hop. Guerrero stumbles but grabs it. Flip back to Scherzer for the out to end the inning. 1-2-3 for Max Scherzer in the top of the second. Blue Jays look for a lead. When we come back, it's 2-2 Toronto and Baltimore. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center.
Of all the things that Timber Mart can lend a hand to build, community ranks among the most important. And with the Timber Mart Local Leaders Initiative, we strive to recognize those dedicated to making their hometowns a better place to live, work, and play. From now to June 25th, you can vote to select our grand prize winner. They'll receive a $10,000 grant to support their outstanding initiative as Timber Mart's Local Leader of the Year. To vote, visit local-leaders.com. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
Talent is just the beginning.
And he launches one.
Strength alone is not enough.
He's one of the best hitters in baseball.
Skills are not given. They are honed, forged.
Guerrero Jr. is ridiculously hot.
Relentlessly refining. More than a hitter, a master of his craft. A silver slugger. On Monday, March 31st, the first 15,000 fans will get a Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Silver Slugger bobblehead. Find your seat at BlueJays.com. Lights up, let's go.
Spring is here. We are all happy to see winter in our rearview mirror. But did you know that spring is a red zone for rust? The combination of leftover winter road salt, increased precipitation, and warmer weather are a perfect recipe for corrosion. Protect your vehicle from rust today by visiting your local Crown Rust Protection Center or book your appointment today at crown.com. For a special spring rust protection offer, visit your local Crown Rust Protection Center.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Flatty with a huge stretch for the double play.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Davis Schneider leading it off for the Blue Jays as we get going in the bottom of the second inning in downtown Toronto. 2-2 Orioles and Blue Jays. Dean Kramer into the wind and his pitch. Down and away, ball 1. I'm Ben Schulman. To my left is Chris LaRue. Davis Schneider got his first appearance of the season last night as a pinch hitter, earned a walk for the Blue Jays, and then finished the game in left field. And it looks like Gary Sanchez has an equipment issue, by the way.
Yeah, he was kind of shaking out his thumb. I'm wondering if that fastball from Dean Kramer got him in the thumb.
I think on replay, that ball went right through his glove. It got away from Sanchez, but it wasn't his fault. The fastball broke the webbing on the glove, so he has a new mitt now, and Kramer's back on the hill. The 1-0. Away again, 2 balls, no strikes.
Good take from Davis Schneider. When he was struggling last year, we saw him swing at those pitches on the outside part of the plate a lot.
The 2-0. Called strike.
Another good take. He does damage middle in and that's where he needs to stay early in counts. Until you get 2 strikes, you really don't want to have to protect out there.
2-1. Takes a fastball on the inner third, strike 2.
And that was his pitch right there. Fastball middle in, right on cue.
Schneider did tell me yesterday there's a lot of talk about the elevated heater, but outside pitches hurt him more. 2-2 pitch is an elevated fastball, a little too high, ball 3. He said everyone talks about up, up, up. He can handle some pitches up. It's the pitches away and down and away that really hurt him. The 3-2. Swing and a pop-up off the fist to second base. That's Westberg's ball, and he makes a two-handed catch, 1 out.
Now batting number 22, Ernie Clement.
Let's welcome our future announcer, presented by Rogers, 9-year-old Owen, making the hour drive from Guelph, Ontario today. Introducing Ernie Clement with 1 out and the bases empty. The pitch. Swing and a fly ball center field. Mullins going back toward right center as room in front of the track makes the catch. 2 outs.
Now batting number 38, Nathan Lucas.
Again, that's Owen from Guelph, Ontario, 9 years old, the future announcer presented by Rogers. Welcome to the game, Owen, and Nathan Lucas sitting for the first time now with 2 outs and the bases empty. Orioles 2, Blue Jays 2, and the pitch. Called strike. The 0-1. Swing and a ground ball hit right at the shortstop, Holiday. Crow hops, throws over to first, and ends the inning. 1-2-3 for Dean Kramer. Both of the starters settling in the second. It's a 2-2 game as we go to the third. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Here at Home Hardware's Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale, everyone's saving on everything they need to tackle their reno project. Like bringing their living room into this century with 25% off Canadian-made Beauty Tone Pure Interior and Specialty Paint. Or tackling that bathroom reno with up to $200 off Max Shower Units. That's better. Earn and redeem Scene Plus points during the Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale. On now at Home Hardware and Building Centers.
Enter night mode.
It's a stylish Friday night in the city.
Every Friday home game.
No doubter.
Where we celebrate everything that makes our city one of a kind.
Anything that counts.
Would you always feel like part of the show? On Friday, April 18th, be at the ballpark early and get your Blue Jays City Connect Bomber Jacket giveaway presented by Enercare. The first 50,000 fans will be geared up for spring nights in the city. City Connect Fridays. Night mode. Lights up. Let's go. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, but it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Barrios retires 7 in a row.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The third inning is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Halifax and Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986, so protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. First pitch to Ramon Urias is outside from Max Scherzer, and the third inning is underway. 2-2, Blue Jays and Orioles. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. The 1-0. Swing and a miss, 1-1.
I tell you what, since the first inning on, he's gotten a little bit better with each pitch. That slider, probably his best slider of the day so far, 84 miles an hour with some good bite to it.
Scherzer kicks, releases, and just gets that one called outside. Might have had the zone on the outside edge, but it's called a ball, so it's 2-1. Scherzer waving off a couple signs, now brings the glove in front of him. Steps to the left, the pitch. Fastball low, 3-1. Behind the number 9 hitter, Ramon Urias, right-handed hitting third baseman, 0 for 4 with a walk and a strikeout on the young season. The 3-1. Tipped foul, just got the bat of Urias in a check swing, a break for Scherzer. It's a full count.
Well, Urias got one earlier on with the strike that was called a ball. Scherzer steals one from Urias right there, a ball that kind of nicked off the bat of Urias.
Maybe a little baseball god intervention. The 3-2. Swing and a fly ball center field. Lucas turns, jogs back. 10 feet in front of the track, makes the catch. 1 out.
That's such a good pitch. A 3-2 change up from Max Scherzer. A fastball count. Urias definitely expecting something quick there. And Scherzer just flips in that change up right down the middle. Urias hits it off the end of the bat.
There's so much going on when Max Scherzer is thinking through his sequences, maybe more than any other pitcher in Major League Baseball. 1 out and the base is empty. 2-2 top of the third. And the pitch to Colton Cowser. Called strike 0-1. Talking to Scherzer in the spring about how he and Alejandro Kirk are getting on the same page. There was 8 to 10 different things that Scherzer is considering with each pitch. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Thinking about pitches that have worked against guys like this in the past. How his pitches are looking in his bullpen before he gets the start. How is this pitch feeling after seeing a swing? What did that swing tell you about the pitch? All of these things and more he's processing at once. His 0-2. Swing and a pop-up down the third baseline, foul territory, and Clement's going to run out of room. That one bounces off the camera well and into the seats.
And all of that is really... It's a lot more important now for Max Scherzer because his stuff isn't as good as it used to be. Of course, when he was 96, 98 miles an hour early in his career, he was more of a thrower than he is now. Now he's a lot more cerebral, and you can actually see him thinking out there on the mound.
Another 0-2, down and in. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It's that kind of thinking that allowed Scherzer to put up a 2.29 ERA in 23 starts with the Mets just a couple years ago, his age 37 season. 1-2 pitch, just outside, 2-2.
Yeah, that changeup is really, really good. A lot of action to it. Looks like a fastball, and then it just quickly starts to fade arm side. Cowser, a good take there.
Cowser homered in the first inning on the second pitch of the day. 2-2. Swing and another pop-up. This one playable for Clement. Deep in foul territory. He'll make the catch beside left field near the foul line for the second out.
Ben, what are you most looking forward to today watching Max Scherzer? I know you've watched him for a long time.
I don't think I've ever seen him in person, though,
yeah.
I'll have to say. So that is a unique treat. Just the presence, the energy, the intensity. Mad Max, of course, the nickname, but it is really the way he operates. He's a scary figure on the mound for hitters. The pitch to Adley Rutschman, high ball 1.
I tell you what, he's kind of just scary to stand next to.
And he is a very nice guy, right. But not only is his resume intimidating in a way, but the way he carries himself too. The 1-0. Swing and a foul to the right on the ground into the Oriole dugout, 1-1.
Good cutter there, in on the hands of Adley Rutschman.
How about you? What are you looking forward to with Scherzer?
Oh, I think just seeing if he can do it like Charlie Morton. You know, once you hit 40, that stuff really diminishes.
1-1. Called strike, 1-2.
And it's cool. And I'm 40 now, so it's cool to see other guys that are my age. Charlie Morton last night, Max Scherzer today, still doing it. We had a conversation with Charlie Morton today, and I said, hey, I'm turning 41 soon. And he looked at me and he goes, still doing it, huh? We're still doing it. I'm like, well, you're doing it. I'm not.
Different ways. You know. The 1-2. Down and in, Rutschman checked his swing. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
So, yeah, I think just seeing Max Scherzer still do it, still able to get out there on a big league mound and get guys out, it's pretty incredible.
Scherzer into the wind. Glove over his head. The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a fly ball, right center field and deep. Lucas going back, has room to make the catch to end the inning. 7 in a row retired by Max Scherzer. 2-2 Orioles and Blue Jays, middle of the third. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. We're back on the track Sunday,
2 p.m. Eastern.
From Martinsville Speedway.
It's the Cookout 400. Martinsville, anything could happen.
On SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90. In the car and on the SiriusXM app.
Great work, guys!
Get closer to everything that moves you wherever you are with the SiriusXM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer! Yeah!
Every night after the final out, the round.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you, the baseball fan, hanging out with us, most preferably a Toronto Blue Jays fan, hanging out with us here at the best live hangout every single game on Toronto Sports Insider. Attention Blue Jays fans, if you are looking for wall-to-wall coverage of every single Toronto Blue Jays game this season, you're here, you're at the right place. Real-time reactions, game breakdowns, and all the latest news on our Blue Jays. We're covering every pitch, every home run, every big moment all season long, and we want you here for the ride. So hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a game, and plus, join in on our live chat streams. Let's make this a Blue Jays season to remember. Go Blue Jays, go. We'll see you in the chat.
No matter where you are, you won't miss a pitch with the SiriusXM app. Hear every game all season long. Download the SiriusXM app and search Blue Jays.
Radio Network.
Welcome back to downtown Toronto. Rogers Center, the scene in the bottom of the third inning between the Blue Jays and the Orioles. Blue Jays 2, Orioles 2, top of the order for Toronto. The pitch to Bo Bichette. Outside ball 1. Second time through the order for Dean Kramer, and he was hurt by the top 3 his first time up. All 3 had singles. The 1-0. High, 2 balls, no strikes. A lot of familiarity here for Kramer. He's seen Bichette and the on-deck hitter Guerrero more than any other hitters in his career. The 2-0. Down and away, ball 3.
That's a good take from Bo Bichette. When you're in a fastball count like that, a hitter's count, you do not want to swing at a pitch on the outside part, even off the plate. Bo Bichette able to hold the bat back, and he's got the green light here with 3-0 count for sure.
Pitch home. Called strike on the outside edge.
That's a good take. Bo wants something on a 3-0 count. He wants something middle or middle in. That fastball there was on the outside part of the plate.
The 3-1. High ball 4, a walk for Bichette. As the Blue Jays are batting right now, our attention grabbed by something in left field. Richard Lovelady is loosening up for the Blue Jays after 3 innings from Max Scherzer. He was just settling in, but from the shots we're seeing on the Sportsnet television broadcast, it looks like Scherzer might be out of this ballgame. We'll have to wait and see, but not a good sign that Toronto has the pen loosening up. Bichette on first, nobody out. And the pitch to Vlad Guerrero Jr. Called strike. Scherzer dealing with that thumb injury during spring. Still made most of his starts. And they said he was good for today. He's gone through 3 innings. 0-1. Called strike.
Well, we'd noticed for the majority of this ball game, the velocity on all of his pitches was down 2 or 3 miles an hour. So you have to imagine that something's going on with that thumb, especially with Lovelady warming up right now.
0-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Got him on a 4-seamer just off the plate outside. And for Kramer, strikeout number 2 today.
Gary Sanchez was actually set up in off the plate. And Kramer's fastball ran outside off the plate. Good thing for him. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. swung through that pitch, but really nowhere near the target.
So 1 out, 2-2 game, bottom of the third. Bichette on first, Anthony Santander up. The pitch. Swing and a fly ball foul into the seats down the right field line, 0-1. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. Don't strike out on your next home improvement project. Your team at Timbermart has the great advice and the products you need, so you'll get the job done right. Knock it out of the park and win the day with Timbermart, Canada's building center. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. The 0-1 pitch to Anthony Santander. Inside, and Sanchez deking a throwback to first. Bichette sprints back. It's 1 ball, 1 strike.
We've seen pretty good velocity on that fastball from Dean Kramer so far. Last year he averaged 93, 94. That last fastball was 96 miles an hour.
The 1-1. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Kramer did hit the injured list late last year with a triceps issue, and a part of me hit it in late May and missed over a month. Perhaps he wasn't fully healthy last season, and almost everyone's fresh when they're coming out of spring. On that note, still see Scherzer in the dugout, standing, walking around, but Richard Lovelady continues to loosen up. Turn and throw to first by Kramer. Dive back in by Bichette safely.
It doesn't look like he's out of the game quite yet, although I could be wrong. We don't have the information quite yet. Lovelady is still warming up out in that bullpen. I'm wondering if Max Scherzer is going to go out, see how it feels, and then the Blue Jays have Lovelady ready to go if needed.
1-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him on a cutter down and in. Back-to-back strikeouts for Dean Kramer. So 2 down, Bichette still on first. Andres Jimenez up to the plate. Bichette inching off the bag, the pitch home. Backdoor breaking ball, strike 1. Wonder if you think about getting Bichette running on a pitch like this, try and get him into scoring position with 2 outs.
I would. He's definitely a good base stealer, got a little bit of speed, get him into scoring position.
The 0-1. Swing and a drive. Deep right center field. Kjerstad sprinting back, looking up. See you later. Big fly, Andres Jimenez, his second in 3 games, and the Blue Jays jump in front 4-2 on an absolute missile.
Ben, who cares about stolen bags when you got power hitting Andres Jimenez in the lineup? What a swing. His second home run of the season.
His first one was a fly ball. That was a line drive out of the park to right center. They got to tailor that home run jacket to him. He's got the team's lead. The only 2 home runs for Toronto so far. Now Alejandro Kirk pops up the first pitch to the mound. Looks like Kramer wants to play it. He'll get out of the way. And Ramon Urias, the third baseman, makes the catch to end the inning. 2 more for the Blue Jays, though. They lead 4-2 after 3, and we'll see who the pitcher is when we return. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
I'm Katie Nolan, and I have a new podcast called Casuals. It's a podcast for people who like sports a normal amount. Casuals is a twice-a-week hang with me and my friends from across comedy, sports, and entertainment, where we talk about all the funny, weird, interesting stuff happening in and around the world of sports. So whether you're a diehard fan or just vaguely sports curious, Casuals is the podcast for you. You can find Casuals on the SiriusXM app, Pandora, or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to follow the show so you never miss an episode. Give it a try. What's the worst that could happen?
Hey, baseball fans, Jim Bowden here. Spring training is officially underway, and we're bringing you inside the action.
That's right, JB. I'm Jim Duquette, and from the top prospects to the veteran comebacks, who's making the roster? We'll break it all down.
Stay tuned as we dive into the biggest stories of the spring with expert insight, interviews, and all the latest news from all the ballparks.
It's spring training like you've never heard it before.
Front Office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
March Madness, where every second
a 16 has beaten a 1
matters.
A frantic finish
finish.
Listen to SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app. Deliver every buzzer beater and bracket buster. Plus, College Sports Radio Channel 84 is reacting to the madness throughout the tournament.
This is a legit Final Four contender.
For the analysis, the insight, and the passion of March Madness, it's SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84 in the car, and streaming on the SiriusXM app. In season or out of season, the number one place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
The fourth inning is presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. New pitcher for the Blue Jays as we get set to start the fourth inning. Richard Lovelady takes over for Max Scherzer, who leaves the game with an apparent injury after 3 innings of work. Lovelady will enter with the Blue Jays up 4-2, thanks to Andres Jimenez's third inning home run. Pitch to Ryan O'Hearn, called strike, 0-1. Second appearance of the season for the lefty Lovelady, went 2/3 of an inning on the 27th in the opener. Walked one, hit one, struck out one. Next pitch is served down the left field line. Fair ball bouncing to the short retaining wall. O'Hearn races around first to second base, and he's got a bloop double to start the inning.
Yeah, that's a tough base hit for Richard Lovelady. A good fastball in on the hands of Ryan O'Hearn, and he kind of just fisted that thing out to left field. Just barely fair past the third base bag. I tell you what, if I'm Richard Lovelady, I'm not happy out there right now.
62 miles an hour that was hit off the bat. Sometimes Guerrero doubles that or gets close to it with some of his hits, but it's a double in the box score and a runner on second for the Orioles with nobody out. Left on right, the pitch to Westberg. Called strike.
Pretty good fastball there, 94 from Richard Lovelady. A little bit of sink too.
He sat around 92 last year with both his four-seamer and his sinker. Slider is a big pitch for the lefty. The 0-1. Down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lovelady, 29 years old, a 10th rounder by the Royals in 2016. Swing and a miss on the next pitch by Lovelady to get ahead of Westberg, 1-2.
A lot of movement on that sinker. Started almost right down the middle and ran off the plate. You can tell Westberg with the awkward swing.
The 1-2. High and outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Sinker's the only pitch Lovelady has that'll run away from a right-handed hitter. His 2-2. Bounced foul, third base side.
And now he's kind of established the inside part of the plate. That slider from Lovelady broke in and kind of got in on the hands of Westberg. Now you can go back outside with the sinker, with the changeup. A lot of options.
Next pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Went back to the slider inside, and he punches out Westberg, 1 down.
Or you can just come back inside. Pretty good slider, 88 miles an hour in off the plate. Just snuck right under the bat of Westberg.
So 1 out, still O'Hearn on second. 4-2 Blue Jays, top of the 4th. Cedric Mullins is up. First pitch, and it hit him on the hand. Mullins will walk down to first base. As he strides down and the Orioles check on him, let's take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. 100% Canadian-owned and operated since 1992. Catch the new menu starting April 8th. Visit stlouiswings.com for details. You are welcome. Big score out of the Bronx. The Yankees are leading Milwaukee 20-7 right now at Yankee Stadium. So much to talk about in that game, but before we do that, left-handed hitting Heston Kjerstad, 2020 second overall pick, stands in. The pitch. High ball 1. We can start with the fact that the Yankees hit 3 home runs on the first 3 pitches from their former hurler, Nestor Cortez. Aaron Judge also with a 3-homer, 8 RBI day. The 1-0. Fouled right back, 1-1.
It's one thing to hit 3 homers in a row to start a ball game on 3 pitches. It's another thing to do it off of your buddy.
A guy who you just went to the World Series with a year ago. But traded away in part of the deal for Devin Williams, Yankees closer. The 1-1. And he plunked him on the side. Back-to-back hit batters are grown from the crowd as the bases are loaded here with only 1 out.
And they were actually trying to go down and away with that fastball. Lovelady again lets that thing go arm side high right into the side of Kjerstad. Poof, right in the ribs. You can see him grimace a little bit, holding that rib cage.
Kjerstad for a moment doubled over, but now he's at first base with a smile on his face. Up to second goes Mullins and O'Hearn to third. Pete Walker out to the mound. So just to cover the other games in action right now, scoreless tie in the top of the 8th, White Sox and Angels. In the bottom of the 6th in St. Louis, the Cardinals lead the Twins 2-1 and have the bases loaded to the Cardinals. No score top of the 1st, Royals and Guardians in Kansas City. No score top of the 1st, Nationals and Phillies in Washington. And the same can be said for the Rays and Rockies playing Game 2 of their seasons at George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa Bay. Richard Lovelady trying to get out of a jam. Bases loaded, 1 out. 4-2 Blue Jays. The pitch to Gary Sanchez. Called strike.
Good pitch. Good fastball at the bottom of that strike zone. And Gary Sanchez has shown over the course of his career that he can swing through a lot of pitches. So you want to throw something out of the zone here.
Next pitch is hit high in the air, fairly deep right field. Tagging at third, O'Hearn. Running into it to make the catch, Santander. Throw to the plate offline. That'll be a sacrifice fly. Snap throw back to first. Does not get the base runner, Kjerstad. Mullins advanced from second to third, and it's now 4-3 on the fly ball and RBI by Gary Sanchez.
Santander did a good job getting behind that baseball. Actually came sprinting in to get some momentum before he caught that baseball, trying to throw the runner out at home plate, but the throw was a little bit up the first baseline, and they weren't able to get him.
He got way behind that ball. I thought it was hit much deeper than it was. So 2 outs now, runners on first and third. By the way, our out-of-town scores were brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. 4-3 Blue Jays in Toronto. Jackson Holiday up, left on left pitch. Down and away, ball 1. Kjerstad has some speed on first base, and it's a very rapid Cedric Mullins on third. Both take their leads. Lovelady's pitch. High, 2-0.
Ben, do you know what those 2-hit batters means?
What does that mean?
I thought you would get this one. He's established the inside part of the play.
Okay. Like Roger Clemens, you know.
There
He's
you go.
getting in there. He's making you think about him. Lovelady's 2-0. Check swing on a pitch down and away. Appeal down to third. He didn't go, says Will Little. 3-0. Bullpen had to come in the 4th inning for the Blue Jays with Scherzer exiting early. 3-0. Downstairs, ball 4. Holiday was taken all the way. He'll take a 4-pitch walk, and the bases are loaded again.
And if you're Richard Lovelady, you're probably a little bit disappointed there. You have a left-on-left matchup, a guy in Jackson Holiday who really hasn't seen much of those lefty-lefty matchups, and then you throw 4 straight balls to walk him.
Now he faces Ramon Urias, who is partly on this team to hit lefties. Batted .295 against left-handed pitching last year. First pitch to Urias, called strike. Blue Jays bullpen is loosening up again. Jacob Barnes is throwing in left field. The 0-1. Hit off the end of the bat. Deep down the right field line. It's going to slice foul. 0-2.
I don't know if you saw that, Ben, but somebody just caught that foul ball with their bare hand.
There you go. It's a good play.
I would never.
I was going to say, you can't say the same. Ducking out of the way of a ball coming at us in spring.
That thing was like 115 miles an hour.
You played in the big leagues. I don't care.
Ben, I used a glove.
The 0-2. Swing and a liner out to right. Santander racing back, leaping up. It's over his head and bounces up into the wall. 1 run scores Mullins. Kjerstad right behind him scores. Holiday dives into the plate, and the Orioles have jumped in front on a bases clearing double by Ramon Urias. It's now 6-4.
Yeah, that's just a big mistake right there from Lovelady. He's ahead in the count, 0-2, and he throws that fastball almost down the middle. You can see Alejandro Kirk set up out of the strike zone. He leaves that thing middle away, but still a very hittable pitch in an 0-2 count. You have to throw something out of the strike zone in that situation.
Lovelady trying to finish the inning, gets back to the top of the order, and the pitch to Colton Cowser is inside, ball 1. Blue Jays had just taken the lead, but the Orioles grab it right back. 6-4 Baltimore. Runner on second and 2 outs. Next pitch. Called strike, 1-1.
Well, we are certainly not in a pitcher's duel, that's for sure.
No. One. Called strike. Wasn't a lot of hard contact this inning until that bases clearing double by Urias. It was a weak double, 2 hit batters and a walk before. Swing and a miss at the 1-2. Lovelady strikes out Cowser to end the inning, but the damage done. 4 runs for the Orioles on 2 hits, and they take a 6-4 lead middle of the 4th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Talent is just the beginning.
Vladdy launches one.
Strength alone is not enough.
He's one of the best hitters in baseball.
Skills are not given. They are honed, forged.
Guerrero Jr. is ridiculously hot.
Relentlessly refining. More than a hitter, a master of his craft. A silver slugger. On Monday, March 31st, the first 15,000 fans will get a Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Silver Slugger bobblehead. Find your seat at BlueJays.com. Lights up. Let's go.
Here at Home Hardware's Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno sale, everyone's saving on everything they need to tackle their reno project. Like bringing their living room into this century with 25% off Canadian-made Beauty Tone Pure Interior and Specialty Paint. Or tackling that bathroom reno with up to $200 off Max shower units. That's better. Earn and redeem Scene Plus points during the Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno sale. On now at Home Hardware and Building Centers.
Breaking news coming in 5. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
George Springer has given the Blue Jays the lead once again.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
6-4 Orioles, bottom of the 4th inning in Toronto, and Dean Kramer deals to Will Wagner. First pitch outside, ball 1. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host today. Nick Blackmore, our producer. 1-0. Swing and a pop-up, veering toward foul territory, deep down the third base line, curling back toward fair territory. Urias makes the catch just fair for the first out. Technical directors today are Austin Mackey and Tom Young. And Show Ali and Julia Kreutz will have Jays Talk for the first time this season, handling Jays Talk together the majority of the time on the weekends this season. 1 out, Davis Schneider to the plate. The pitch. Called strike. Schneider 0 for 1, popped out to second in the second. 0-1. Check swing. Pitch outside. On appeal, he did go around. It's 0-2. Kramer steps to his left, kicks and delivers home. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 3 fastballs from Dean Kramer, and there are 2 down.
And that one there was a perfect location just above the strike zone. We've all seen Davis Schneider struggle with that fastball elevated out of the strike zone. That one there, no different. Perfect from Dean Kramer.
2 outs, Ernie Clement to the plate. And the pitch. Called strike. Looked a little bit high. Clement looking back to the dugout. He can't believe it, but it's 0-1. The pitch home. Hit off the handle, a pop-up foul over the first base dugout. 0-2. Ernie 1 for 5 on the young season. Picked up his first hit of the year, pinch hitting. Hit a ball near his foot down the left field line for a 2-run double yesterday. The 0-2. Hit on the ground, foul, third base side.
That split finger from Dean Kramer's really starting to work. He's throwing that hard four-seamer, 95 at the top of the strike zone, then working the bottom of the strike zone with that split finger. He's kind of getting in a groove now.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 1-2-3 for Kramer, including back-to-back strikeouts to end the inning. We go to the 5th. Orioles lead 6-4. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Change is happening.
I've been having crying spells since the election.
And so is the conversation.
You're on Progress. Hello.
You care about the issues.
Day after day, they're stripping away rights.
We amplify your voice.
This is an important time to resist. I just want to encourage people, don't give up.
I'm grateful. I hear other people call in and say the same thing.
Sirius XM Progress is your channel for change. You're not just a listener. You're part of the movement. Listen. Engage. Progress. Sirius XM Progress 127.
Cameron Meisner sends him home.
This is Steve Phillips from the leadoff spot on MLB Network Radio. Join me and Xavier Scruggs Monday at 7 a.m. Eastern as we recap the first weekend of Major League Baseball's 2025 season.
Tyler O'Neill, his first Orioles home run. That's his 6th straight opening day with a home run.
Don't miss the leadoff spot, 7 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM 89, and on the Sirius XM app.
March Madness, where every second
a 16 has beaten a 1
matters.
A frantic finish.
Listen to Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app. Deliver every buzzer beater and bracket buster. Plus, College Sports Radio Channel 84 is reacting to the madness throughout the tournament.
This is a legit Final Four contender.
For the analysis, the insight, and the passion of March Madness, it's Sirius XM College Sports Radio Channel 84 in the car and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM
Radio Network.
5th inning brings a pitching change, which is brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone home sale. Jacob Barnes into the game for the Blue Jays. Toronto trailing 6-4 to the Baltimore Orioles, top of the 5th. I'm Ben Schulman. To my left is Chris LaRue. Barnes, the second reliever in this game for Toronto after Max Scherzer exited early after only 3 innings. Barnes fires to Adley Rutschman. First pitch swatted out to deep left field. Racing back Schneider, turning, it's off the top of the wall. Rutschman burning for second. The throw from Schneider, not in time. Decent toss, but a slide in safely by Rutschman and a leadoff double.
Yeah, that was a really good play from Davis Schneider out in left field. Got that ball perfectly off the fence, barehanded it, and made a great throw into second base. Adley Rutschman might have surprised him just a little bit, but he snuck in there with that right foot.
Second inning in a row with a leadoff double for the Orioles, and last inning they scored 4 to take the lead. Barnes' pitch to Ryan O'Hearn, called strike. Barnes pitched in the opener for the Blue Jays, went 1 inning in that outing. 1 hit and 2 earned runs, although both runs came in to score after he had exited the game. The 0-1. Fouled off to the left, 0-2.
Pretty solid year for Jacob Barnes last year in Washington. 63 ball games, 66 innings pitched, 8-3 with a 4.36 ERA.
Made the team as a non-roster invite to camp, the 35-year-old who pitched with Toronto in 2021. Looks at second, deals home. Fouled back again. That one hit right back to the on-deck circle where it was caught by Jordan Westburg. Barnes looking back now in the set at the runner on second, Rutschman. He kicks and delivers home. Bounced it, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Four-seamer, cutter, and slider for the veteran right-hander Barnes. Sets up on the first base side of the rubber, digging in his white cleats. The 1-2. Check swing on a pitch in the dirt. Appeal down to third. He did go. Kirk chasing O'Hearn down the line. Now throws to first in foul territory. Guerrero secures it. 1 out on a strikeout by Barnes.
That's a big out for Barnes. You get ahead in the count 0-2. You don't want to give O'Hearn something he can drive, especially with that big run standing out at second base and Adley Rutschman. And Jacob Barnes with a good slider bounces that thing. Again, Alejandro Kirk with the perfect block throws it over to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. for a big out.
So 1 down, 6-4 for the Orioles over the Blue Jays. Top of the 5th, and the pitch to Jordan Westburg, swing and a miss. Let's go back to the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. That Yankees-Brewers game, did it just wrap up? It was still going a second ago, but it has ended now. 20-9, the final score in favor of the Bronx Bombers.
Pitcher's duel.
Oh, yeah. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. 0-2.
Do we got a time on that game?
3 hours, 5 minutes.
That's not bad.
Pitch clock.
Yeah.
Barnes is 0-2. Hit foul again.
A little bit too good of a pitch there from Jacob Barnes. Kind of out over the middle, a little bit outside, but you don't want to let Westburg get those arms extended.
Another 0-2. And another foul ball to the right.
You can see Jacob Barnes, after throwing that fastball, kind of tilting his head. He knows that that is not where you should be throwing that 0-2 pitch. 95 up, out over the middle. You want to get that fastball up above the strike zone. Let's see what he does here.
Barnes nods, looking in at Alejandro Kirk. Peeks at second, pitches home, and went down and away with a breaking ball. Couldn't get him to chase. Some late drama on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. We'll get to it in a second. 1-2. Swing and a ground ball over the mound, going to the wrong side of second. Jimenez gloves, throws across his body to first, not in time. Can't believe he even got to that ball, but it'll be an infield hit for Jordan Westburg as he perfectly placed the grounder up the middle.
Yeah, Jordan Westburg, who has just a little bit of speed out there. Basically, no chance as soon as that ball got past Jacob Barnes. Like you said, surprised Andres Jimenez even got to that baseball up the middle.
Rutschman advanced to third, so it's runners on the corners with 1 out, and the Orioles already leading 6-4, top of the 5th. Barnes delivers to Cedric Mullins, misses high and outside, ball 1. The late drama on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Angels visiting the White Sox to start the season, and the former White Sox, Yoan Moncada, with an 8th-inning RBI single off now a reliever in Mike Clevenger to make it 1-0 on the south side of Chicago. All of our out-of-town scores today brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. The 1-0. Swing and a foul back headed near us. It'll drop beneath our feet. 1-1. Mullins 0 for 1, a line out, a hit by pitch, and a run scored. 1-1. Down and away ball 2. Somewhat of a bullpen day today for the Blue Jays, with Scherzer exiting after 3 innings. They're going to need a little bit more efficiency going forward. 2-1 is roped to right center, down for a base hit. 1 run will score Rutschman. Westberg goes first to third. RBI single Mullins, and it's 7-4 for Baltimore.
Actually, not a terrible pitch from Barnes. It was a slider down in the strike zone. Again, Cedric Mullins is seeing the ball very, very well. 2 home runs in the opener, and he absolutely roped that baseball into the gap for a single and an RBI.
Orioles with 5 runs off the Blue Jays relievers in the last inning and a third. And still a chance to do more. Here's Heston Kjerstad. Turn and throw to first. Mullins dives back in.
The biggest thing as a reliever when you come into a ball game is getting out number 1. Richard Lovelady last inning wasn't able to get out number 1, and Jacob Barnes wasn't able to do that this inning. It kind of snowballs on you once you don't get that first out.
Pitch to Kjerstad, misses outside. 1 ball, no strikes. For Lovelady, it was 25 pitches and 4 runs allowed last inning. Barnes is nearing 20 here with only 1 out. This early in the season, you really don't want to have your relievers pitching a ton, but the Blue Jays look like they're going to have to use a bunch. Pitch home, Mullins takes off for second, throw down by Kirk, not in time. Gave him a chance against one of the better base stealers in all of Major League Baseball. And we'll see if the Blue Jays look at it. It was a strike from Kirk into the mitt of the shortstop, Bo Bichette. John Schneider's not going to challenge a stolen base for Mullins, his first of the year.
I said it in spring training, and I'm going to say it again. Alejandro Kirk's arm looks very different than it did last year. That throw was a hose. Cedric Mullins just sneaks that left arm in there. But he is a different guy back there this year.
2-0 count now, and the pitch to Kjerstad hits the zone. Called strike 1. Infield is in. Second and third for the Orioles. 1 out. 7-4 Baltimore in the top of the 5th. The 2-1. Swing and a fly ball left center field. Should be deep enough to score the runner Westberg from third. Lucas makes the catch, and he'll throw it back into third base. In to score is Westberg. It's 8-4 for the Orioles on the sac fly. No one up right now in the Toronto pen. Barnes can go more than an inning, provide some length out of the pen. This is first inning. Pitch to Gary Sanchez, hit on the ground, foul just past third base coach Tony Mansolino. 0-1.
Well, Ben, you can't use too much of the bullpen today. The Blue Jays, including today, still have 5 games to go without an off day. And like you said,
0-1 pitch, broken back grounder to short. Bichette picks it up. Strong throw over to first, and that'll end the inning. 2 runs for the Orioles on 3 hits. Heston Kjerstad knocked in the last one with a sacrifice fly. It's 8-4 Baltimore, middle of the 5th. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center.
Every reaction that I have seen to the breaking news is what the hell just happened.
When the sports world is talking, nobody gives you more perspectives than the experts of SiriusXM.
The Memphis Grizzlies have parted ways with head coach Taylor Jenkins.
Hear instant reaction on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
There has to be more to the story. Whoa, this is out of nowhere.
And expert analysis on NBA Radio.
Taylor Jenkins is a fantastic coach.
Live sports talk when you need it is on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
I've said this since the Luka trade. Nothing surprises me anymore.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Out of here! Yo-hey, Ohtani Connect!
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy basketball to getting you ready for the NFL Draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
We begin our quest for another championship right now. Winning is everything. It's it. It's all there is.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM.
Let's go, man!
We're back on the track Sunday,
2 p.m. Eastern.
From Martinsville Speedway.
It's the Cookout 400.
Martinsville, anything could happen.
On SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90, in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
Great work, guys!
Get closer to everything that moves you, wherever you are, with the SiriusXM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer! Yeah!
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Bottom of the fifth inning in Toronto. Blue Jays trying to climb out of an 8-4 hole that they find themselves in after the Orioles have scored 6 runs their last 2 times to the plate. Nathan Lucas will lead it off for the Blue Jays. 9-1-2 for Toronto against Dean Kramer. Righty Kramer rocks back and deals. Down and in, ball 1. The 1-0. Swing and a miss got Lucas out in front of the curve. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, Nathan Lucas nodding his head. Wasn't really ready for that big breaking curveball in a 1-0 count. But Dean Kramer really has a good feel for all of his pitches so far.
The 1-1. Down and in, 2-1. Some around the Orioles talked to me about the strides Kramer has made in sequencing, understanding how hitters react to him from when he was young in his career. The 2-1. Outside, ball 3. He's got good velocity and solid stuff, but at times early they felt like he was leading on that stuff. Now he's really trying to use his brain with the stuff, but he'll miss inside there with the 3-1 and walk Nathan Lucas to start the inning.
And that's a big at-bat for Nathan Lucas. Down 4 in the 5th inning. It's kind of an inning where you have to either get a couple of runs or the ballgame might be out of reach. And Nathan Lucas with a good at-bat there. Took a couple of tough pitches from from Dean Kramer. And here we go, top of the order. Bo Bichette's now up at the plate.
Bichette has reached and scored both of his first 2 times up. The pitch. Outside, ball 1. A single in the first, a walk in the third. Came in on hits from Anthony Santander and Andres Jimenez, respectively. The 1-0. Down and away, 2-0. They'd love to drive this Kramer pitch count up. He was under 60 pitches going into the inning, despite the fact that the Blue Jays had scored 4 runs off of him in 4 innings. 2-0. Called strike. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth, by the way. I'm Ben Schulman. He's Chris LaRue. Dean Kramer's 2-1. Down and away, ball 3, and Bichette staying patient as Kramer's been scattered to start this inning.
Yeah, a lot of hitters will kind of get antsy in that 2-1 count, that 3-1 count. They'll swing at pitches, especially fastballs that are out of the strike zone. Bo Bichette showing just how patient he is, not swinging at that outside fastball.
Kramer kicks and delivers. Called strike on the outer third, full count.
There's a big hole on the right side of this infield. Jordan Westberg is shaded towards second base. Ron O'Hearn is holding on Nathan Lucas at first base.
Bullpen is up now for the Orioles, by the way. Payoff pitch. Swing and a chopper. That's going to sneak through the left side and into left field, a base hit. Lucas up to second. Bo Bichette stops at first with his second hit and third time aboard today.
He's really seeing the ball well. And again, just because Bo doesn't hit the ball all that hard doesn't mean he wasn't trying to do that. He knows exactly what he can do with that pitch. He's one of the smartest hitters in the big leagues. He saw that big hole out there, and he just placed that ball right through the hole on the left side of the infield.
That'll draw Drew French, the pitching coach for the Orioles, out of the dugout to go and talk to his starter, Dean Kramer. With that, we can do the Bet365 standings update. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. The one change from when we read it earlier today is now the Yankees are 2-0 at the top of the division. It's the Rays at 1-0 in action right now with the Rockies. Baltimore and Toronto both 1-1, as is Boston. The Red Sox will take on the Rangers later today. Mound meeting over and a big spot in this game. Orioles up 8-4, but Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is up to the plate, and Toronto has Lucas on second, Bichette on first. Nobody out. Keegan Aiken getting loose for Baltimore as Kramer sets, kicks, and delivers. First pitch heaters, strike one.
Like I said, you don't have to get 4 in this inning, but it would be nice to get a couple. Get those guys out on the bases right now to come around and score.
The 0-1. Bounce to the plate, gets away from Sanchez. Both runners move up 90 feet. Lucas to third, Bichette to second. It's a wild pitch and a big one potentially in this inning.
Well, Gary Sanchez has never really been known as a defensive specialist, but that split finger from Dean Kramer is a tough pitch to block. Out in front of the plate in the other batter's box, Gary Sanchez doesn't do a great job trying to block that thing, but
infield stays back. Second and third, nobody out. The 1-1. Swing and a ground ball to short. Coming home, Lucas. Holiday Fields, he'll throw on to first. So it's an RBI ground out for Guerrero, and the Blue Jays get one back now, 8-5.
And now you have Bo Bichette standing on second base, less than 2 outs. Anthony Santander has to drive something in a gap here, see if he can score Bo from second base. It's a big run standing out there.
Stops 6 straight runs that were scored by the Baltimore Orioles, with the Blue Jays getting a run there. 8-5, 1 out. The pitch to Santander is fouled right back on the ground, 0-1. Santander is 3 for 10 to start his season. Picked up his first Blue Jay RBI on a single in the first. The 0-1. Called strike, buckled him there with a splitter, and it's 0-2.
I bet he wants that pitch. Split finger, but thigh high on the inner part of the plate. But like you said, I think that fooled him just a little bit.
Could be Kramer's last batter. The 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Tied him up with the high heat, and there are 2 down.
Such a good sequence, throwing that split finger for strike number 2, and then coming back with that 95-mile-an-hour fastball up and in at the hands of Anthony Santander. Just ties him up. No chance for Santander.
So 2 down, Bichette on second, Andres Jimenez at the plate. The pitch. Called strike. Thought that Santander might have been the last batter for Dean Kramer because they have a lefty in Keegan Aiken throwing right now, and Jimenez bats from the left side. The 0-1. Up and away, ball 1. Bichette getting his lead. Holiday creeping in behind him. 1-1 pitch, bounce to the plate. This one blocked by Sanchez. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Yeah, that was another tough block for Gary Sanchez. A splitter again, bouncing in front of the plate, but Gary Sanchez doing a good job getting in front of it.
(8-5) Orioles, and the hits 8-5 for the Orioles so far. The 2-1. Swing and a high bouncer to first, snared there by O'Hearn. He'll go to the bag to end the inning. The Blue Jays get a run on one hit. Guerrero drives it in with the RBI ground out. They leave Bichette on second, though, and trail 8-5 after 5 innings. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. For our participating location, visit timbermart.ca.
Spring is here. We are all happy to see winter in our rearview mirror. But did you know that spring is a red zone for rust? The combination of leftover winter road salt, increased precipitation, and warmer weather are a perfect recipe for corrosion. Protect your vehicle from rust today by visiting your local Crown Rust Protection Center or book your appointment today at crown.com. For a special spring rust protection offer, visit your local Crown Rust Protection Center.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Center. Visit timbermart.ca.
Rogers Xfinity Internet is ready for everything, so you can search and stream and shop and study and share and play and post and work and watch and game and work out and download and... wow, that's a lot. And now you can save a lot, too, at the Rogers Spring Event. Visit in-store or Rogers.com and save up to $20 a month on a 24-month term on Canada's most reliable internet. Get Rogers Xfinity Internet and be ready to do more everything.
Hey, this is David Schneider. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center for the top of the 6th inning between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Baltimore Orioles. Game 3 of the 2025 season. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. And Jacob Barnes back out on the mound for the Blue Jays with Jackson Holliday leading off. 8-5 Oriole advantage. Right on left pitch coming from Barnes. Low ball 1. Holliday, a walk and a run scored his last time up. He's 0 for 1 today. (1-0). Bounced foul, first base side, 1-1.
This is a big inning for Jacob Barnes. We call this a shutdown inning. Your offense just scored a run, scratching and clawing in the bottom part of the inning, and you have to come out, get the first guy out, and eventually put up a 0.
Orioles have 6 runs in their last 2 offensive innings combined. The 1-1. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Goes Holliday, Urias, Hauser this inning. Left, right, left. 8-9-1 in the Baltimore order. The 1-2. Hit foul off to the left.
Good pitch from Jacob Barnes, up and in, tying up Jackson Holliday. Like we talked about earlier, you don't want to let him get extended with those big arms. He's got some power. He showed that yesterday. Maybe come back inside with something here again.
The 1-2. Down and away, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Holliday has the bat hovering above his left shoulder. Takes the 2-2. Called strike 3. Barnes sets him down for out number 1 in the top of the 6th.
That might have been off the plate just a little bit, but like we've seen before, Alejandro Kirk steals those pitches, frames them perfectly, makes them look a lot better than they are. Jackson Holliday didn't like that call, but Alejandro Kirk again with a good job back there.
Big first out for Barnes. The pitch to Ramon Urias is lined to left field, and that's down for a base hit. Urias around first, heads back to the bag. He's 2 for 3 after he smashed that 3-run double in the fourth. John Schneider walking out to the mound. Chad Green has been warming up, and Schneider points to the bullpen, ending the day for Jacob Barnes. He's out after an inning and a third. There's a runner on first, and the Blue Jays trail 8-5 with 1 out in the top of the 6th. Let's go over to today's host. Here's Show Ali.
Thanks very much, Ben. Let's check the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. The first game of the day in Major League Baseball was Brewers at Yankees. Ben and Chris talking about it throughout the game. Nestor Cortes Jr. on the mound for Milwaukee, making his return to the Bronx, where he played for so long. Let's take a listen to the first 3 pitches of today's game at Yankee Stadium.
First pitch swung on, a high fly ball. Deep left center field. Carry, goodbye! Home run for Goldie! Big time carry on that home run, 1-0 Yankees. Here is Belly, high drive, right center field. They're looking up, that baby's out of here. It's 2-0 Yankees. You can tell the fans want Judge to get a piece of this action. First pitch, he swings, deep drive, left field, no doubt about it. Aaron Judge way upstairs. It's 3-0 Yankees. Aaron Judge with his first home run of the season. My goodness, it's home run derby in the Bronx.
3 pitches, 3 solo bombs, including the first home run of the season for Aaron Judge. It traveled 468 feet. This one did turn into a laugher. It finished 20-9 Yankees. Judge had 3 home runs and 8 RBI. They hit 9 total home runs in this one. Judge actually missed his 4th home run by about a foot in the 6th inning and had to settle for a hard-hit RBI double instead. Elsewhere, it is a Saturday, which means it's hockey night tonight. 11 games on the NHL calendar, including a few games from earlier in the day. The Flyers thumped the Sabres 7-4 earlier in the afternoon, while the Lightnings, they were up 4-0 on the Islanders. It's now 4-3. Lightning over the Islanders with 3.5 minutes to go in the third period. The Blues taking on the Avalanche right now. 0 just about 90 seconds into the first period. Blue Jays baseball, as always, is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action right here at the Rogers Center. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. Chad Green into the ball game. Runner on first, 1 out. Top of the 6th inning, 8-5 Orioles. Green takes on the top of the order. Colton Cowser's up. And the pitch. Hit foul off of the side of Cowser, 0-1. It's Ramon Urias on first after his single knocked Jacob Barnes out of the game. Barnes lasted an inning and a third. Righty Green looking in, kicks, fires, misses high, ball 1. Fastball slider, the mix for Chad Green, sat 95-96 with the heater last year. Here's 1-1. High and outside, 2-1.
And you have to be careful with Cowser in this count, a hitter's count, a fastball count. Colton Cowser already has a home run in this game.
Homered off Max Scherzer to lead off the ball game. Scherzer exited early with right lat soreness. 2-1. Called strike, 2-2.
Good pitch at the top of the strike zone with that slider.
It's almost a cutter, a very tight slider, thrown hard at 87. Green's 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Went right back up there with the heater, 2 down.
And that's what he's so good at, throwing that hard four-seam fastball at the top of the strike zone, just above the strike zone, getting a lot of swings and misses. Early in his career, when he was throwing 97 miles an hour, he was so good at that. That one right there, no different.
Blue Jays looking for a shutdown inning. They scored the last run in this game where they trail 8-5. The pitch to Adley Rutschman. Chopped to first base. Leap by Guerrero. He snags it, lands on the bag for the out. What a play by the Gold Glover. And that'll be a scoreless top of the 6th. Around a base hit. It's still 8-5 for the Orioles, middle of 6. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center.
Get closer to the artists you love on the SiriusXM app. From 24/7 channels dedicated to icons like the Beatles, Bruce Springsteen, and the Grateful Dead, to ones hosted by stars like John Mayer, Carrie Underwood, and Kelly Clarkson. Explore the songs, stories, and inside access to artists you won't find anywhere else. Plus, exclusive shows, interviews, full concerts, and more. Just search Artist Channels in the SiriusXM app.
I'm Mike Farron. If you're like me, you love baseball. You love talking baseball with your friends, and your partner on the radio is the former general manager of the Mets.
This is Jim Duquette. Join me and Mike weekdays at 10 Eastern for Power Alley on MLB Network Radio.
It's baseball, and more baseball. 100% in-depth baseball talk.
We spent an entire week once on pulled pork recipes.
It's 95% in-depth baseball talk on Power Alley. Weekdays, 10 Eastern, MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89.
Hear the Masters exclusively on SiriusXM. Hi, this is Mike Tirico, and there's nothing like the Masters.
Rory McIlroy, he's thinking grand slam.
The beauty of the azaleas, the passion of the patrons, and the best golfers in the world vying for a green jacket.
For birdie, 16, it's on the way and in. Scotty Scheffler can put one arm in the jacket now.
It all makes for one of the most iconic weekends in sports. Join me for live coverage of the Masters beginning Thursday, April 10th on Masters Radio, Channel 92 in the car, and the SiriusXM app.
Jays fans, this is George Springer, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on SiriusXM.
George Springer, airborne, snatches it out of the sky.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the sixth inning, 8-5 Orioles over Blue Jays. Still Dean Kramer for Baltimore. His pitch to Alejandro Kirk. Curveball lands in the zone, strike one.
Dean Kramer just threw his 76th pitch of the ball game. Keegan Aiken out there in the bullpen, still warming up for the Orioles.
0-1 pitch is high, 1-1. He's taken some breaks, but he's been warming for a while. Was warming up last inning in the bottom of the fifth, and now still doing it here in the bottom of the sixth. The 1-1. Called strike, 1-2.
Kirk didn't like that call, but that was on the black outside. A good pitch from Dean Kramer.
Kirk asks for time, and as we look to the dugout steps, George Springer has a helmet on and has a bat. The 1-2 bounced 2-2.
Well, one can only assume if the Orioles bring in a lefty, they'll bring in George Springer to face that lefty.
Will Wagner swings left, the on-deck hitter. 2-2. Fouled off the glove. Could also have Springer come in for Nathan Lucas, who's due up fifth this inning, another left-handed hitter. Blue Jays have Springer, Straw, Rodin, and Heineman on the bench. The 2-2. Swing and a ground ball to second base. Shuffling to his left, Westberg has it, throws to first. And that's the first out. We're here in the Timber Mart broadcast booth, and not only is it me and Chris, but Show Ali, today's host of Blue Jays Talk, alongside Julia Kreutz is here. You can text or call in to the show after the game. In fact, you can text in right now if you want to get your thoughts heard already. And we'll hear from Show right now as Dean Kramer walks off the mound after 5 1/3. Keegan Aiken about to come in. Here is Show Ali.
Thanks very much, Ben. Yeah, a lot of texts at 590-590, name and location. We'll get to all of your texts on Jays Talk post-game. Let's have another quick check of the out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Let's continue checking where we left off in the NHL. It's a busy night, 11 games on the NHL calendar today. 2 games in the early goings. The Flyers thumping the Sabres 7-4 earlier. And again, the Lightning were up 4-0 on the Islanders. And with about 40 seconds left, they've pulled the goaltender. The Lightnings now trail 4-3 in the third period. So you can catch the last couple seconds of that. Blues going on against the Avalanche in Denver right now. 14 minutes to go in the first period. Zeros in Denver for Blues Avalanche. Later tonight, we have Devils at Wild. That's at 6 Eastern. Golden Knights at Predators. That one goes at 6:30 Eastern. Later on, we have the Leafs continuing their West Coast trip. They're in L.A. to take on the Kings. That game goes early on the West Coast, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on Sportsnet and the CBC. After the game is over, you can catch Leafs Talk with Bunkus and McKee. That'll be on Sportsnet's YouTube page and Sportsnet Plus. We also have another great game at 7 between the two current occupants of the Eastern Conference wildcard spots as the Blue Jackets are in Ottawa to take on the Senators. The Sens looking good right now at 81 points as the season winds down. The Jackets, meanwhile, have 75 points after a wild 6-5 shootout win over the Canucks the other night. The Jackets, Habs, and Rangers all sitting at 75 points with just a handful of games to go in the NHL season. The Islanders, meanwhile, they kind of need the win today. They have 74 points, so the Jackets later on will require a win to keep pace with the other teams vying for the wild card. And later on tonight, an all-Canadian matchup. The Battle of Alberta goes tonight. Flames at Oilers, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. Watch it on Sportsnet. Listen to it on Sportsnet 960 The Fan. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. Left-hander Keegan Aiken into the game, and Will Wagner remains in to go left on left with the southpaw. The pitch. Outside, ball 1. 8-5, the Orioles lead the Blue Jays. Aiken enters with 1 out in the bottom of the 6th, and the base is empty. The 1-0. Down and away, 2-0.
Keegan Aiken, former second-round pick out of Western Michigan, had a pretty good year for the Orioles last year. 3-1 with a 3.32 ERA, 66 ball games.
2-0. Swing and a deep drive. Right field line. If it's fair, it's gone. And that ball is off the top of the wall. Pardon me. It stays in the yard. But Wagner will slide into second with a leadoff double. One out double by Wagner, the first batter to face Aiken, and that's why you leave Will Wagner in left on left. I thought that ball was out for sure, but it just stayed in the yard.
Well, it definitely looked like he got all of it, but I think it hit off the end of the bat just a little bit, just enough to stay in this ballpark.
First pitch to Davis Schneider, called strike.
Even fooled you.
It did. Aiken looks at second, the pitch home. Schneider will take it down and away, ball 1. In Schneider's big 2023 part season, he absolutely crushed lefties. 1-1. He hits that one foul through his own legs. 1-2.
Well, that's a big run standing out at second base. Guy in scoring position, less than 2 outs again. Slowly chip away at this 3-run lead. Just get 1 run here. It's a big run.
The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. There are a lot of questions about the Orioles bullpen coming into the season. You have Felix Bautista coming off of injury, and they wanted to supplement him with Andrew Kittredge to mostly set up and then also save games when saves were needed in back-to-backs. But he got hurt. He'll be out for a couple months. First pitch to Ernie Clement with 2 down. Called strike, 0-1. Wagner still on second. You have Sir Anthony Dominguez coming off a spring in which he had a near 20 ERA. He was up and down with the Orioles last year. So was Gregory Soto. Aiken's 0-1. Fouled right back, 0-2. We saw some of the struggles yesterday. Albert Suarez did not have a great day in 2 2/3. Gave up 5 hits and 2 runs to the Blue Jays. And Cionel Perez gave up 2 runs in an inning as well. The 0-2. Fouled right back into the netting.
Good job from Ernie Clement. It's a tough pitch on the outside part, almost the black. A slider there from Keegan Aiken. Ernie Clement just fouling that thing back.
4-seam slider changed the mix for Keegan Aiken. The 0-2. Down and in, ball 1. By the way, it looks like Springer is not going to hit this inning after all. Nathan Lucas is out there taking swings. Should be noted, Springer is 0 for 12 against Aiken in his career. The 1-2. Swing and a ground ball left side on the run. Stopped by Urias. Fumbles for a moment, but gets it out of his glove and throws to first. to end the inning. After giving up a double to Will Wagner, Aiken strands him on second and keeps the Orioles up 8-5 as we go to the 7th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Find your location at timbermart.ca.
Spring is here. We are all happy to see winter in our rearview mirror. But did you know that spring is a red zone for rust? The combination of leftover winter road salt, increased precipitation, and warmer weather are a perfect recipe for corrosion. Protect your vehicle from rust today by visiting your local Crown Rust Protection Center or book your appointment today at crown.com. For a special spring rust protection offer, visit your local Crown Rust Protection Center.
Talent is just the beginning.
Vladdy launches one.
Strength alone is not enough.
He's one of the best hitters in baseball.
Skills are not given. They are honed, forged.
Guerrero Jr. is ridiculously hot.
Relentlessly refining. More than a hitter. A master of his craft. A silver slugger. God! On Monday, March 31st, the first 15,000 fans will get a Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Silver Slugger bobblehead. Find your seat at BlueJays.com. Lights up. Let's go.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. For our participating location, visit timbermart.ca.
Hi, this is Jeff Hoffman, and you're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Seventh inning about to start in Toronto. Blue Jays down 8-5 to the Orioles. Chad Green still on the hill. His pitch to Ryan O'Hearn, up and in, ball one. Green used just 6 pitches to get 2 outs in the 6th inning, and no one's loosening up, so they've given him the 7th. The 1-0. Called strike, 1-1. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host today. Nick Blackmore, our producer. Austin Mackey, Tom Young, the technical directors, as the 1-1 hits the bottom of the zone for strike 2. Be interested to see if they use Jeff Hoffman today. He's yet to make his season debut. The 1-2. Swing and a grounder foul.
I mean, at some point you have to use him. You have to get him work in game situation. I know that John Schneider probably doesn't want to use him because maybe you'll have to use him tomorrow, but at some point you got to get him in a ball game.
Next pitch is fouled off the catcher Kirk, and it's still 1-2. Last time Hoffman pitched was last Friday, not a day ago, but 8 days ago. Pitching against the Philadelphia Phillies in spring training. So, he's obviously thrown since then and now, but not in a game situation. The 1-2. Grounded foul near the Oriole dugout off the front fence.
Yeah, I'm sure Jeff Hoffman has thrown sides, but nothing is the same as game situation, the intensity, the arm speed.
The 1-2. Swing and a towering fly ball, shallow right field. Charging in Santander. He'll call off Jimenez and make the catch. It's the first start in right field this season for Anthony Santander. He's done pretty well. He's had some tricky plays out there, and he's made all of them.
Yeah, I don't mind him out there. I mean, I think he grades out as about average.
He's got a big arm, not a ton of range, so you get the push and pull there. Jordan Westberg to the plate. Right on right matchup with 1 out in the pitch. Swing and a fly ball deep center. Lucas turns toward left center field. Sprinting back. Warning track at the wall. Leaps. And that ball is gone. Second home run of the day for Westberg. Third in 3 games this season. And the Orioles are up 9-5.
Well, Nathan Lucas had a beat on that ball. He made a great play to try to catch that baseball. It was about 2 or 3 feet above the short fence out there in center field, and he just missed it. That ball went just over his glove for his second home run of the ball game.
It's 400 out there, and that ball traveled 402 feet.
I think it actually tipped off of his glove. What an attempt.
First pitch to Cedric Mullins, misses down and in, ball one. I mean, he did just about everything you can do. It hit off the edge of his glove as he reached out for it. The 1-0. Swing and a miss, 1-1. If he was a lefty thrower, he would have been able to reach back a little bit more, but being a right-handed thrower, he had to reach backhanded across his body. 1-1. Swing and a drive to deep right. Santander shuffling back, edge of the warning track, makes the catch. 2 down.
You know who would have made that play?
The guy who threw out the first pitch a couple days ago?
No, you're left-handed.
Oh. I'd still be running to the wall right now. Nine-5 Orioles after their third home run of the day, second from Westberg. 2 outs, Heston Kjerstad up. Green's pitch. High ball 1. Green very steady for the Blue Jays last season, although he's allowed a homer now in both of his first 2 appearances to start the year. The 1-0. Swing and a deep foul ball, left field line into the 200 level seats.
Even though Green has allowed those 2 home runs, I still think the stuff is better now than it was at this point last year. The fastball velo was a little bit down last year. The fastball velo now is probably 95, 96 miles an hour.
1-1 hit foul, 1-2.
And it has that good life at the top of the strike zone. That last home run to Jordan Westberg was a little spinning slider over the middle of the plate. Just a mistake. I think it's just coincidence that he's given up 2 home runs now in his 2 outings, but the stuff to me looks a little bit better now than it did this time last year.
Breaking the action after that foul ball off the foot of Kjerstad. Left-handed hitter back in, straight up in his stance. Looking at Green, who releases a 1-2. In the dirt, blocked by Kirk. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Green set, glove at his chin. Kicks, delivers, and gets a foul ball off the bat of Kjerstad, bounding into the Orioles dugout. Another 2-2. Called, strike 3. Frozen with a fastball inside edge, but the Orioles tack on a run. It's Jordan Westberg's solo shot that makes it 9-5 Baltimore at the 7th inning stretch. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network, you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center.
Spring is here. We are all happy to see winter in our rearview mirror. But did you know that spring is a red zone for rust? The combination of leftover winter road salt, increased precipitation, and warmer weather are a perfect recipe for corrosion. Protect your vehicle from rust today by visiting your local Crown Rust Protection Center or book your appointment today at crown.com. For a special spring rust protection offer, visit your local Crown Rust Protection Center.
Timber Mart. Locally owned, proudly Canadian. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Center. Visit timbermart.ca.
Let's see some talent. Tuesdays on City TV. The stage is set for incredible performances.
I think you're friggin' amazing.
The judges are looking for the next $1 million act.
You devastated the stage.
That will leave you speechless.
You make me laugh. You leave me in awe. That was amazing.
All new Canada's Got Talent. Tuesdays 8/7 Central on City TV. Or stream it on City TV Plus.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Runner going, throw down to second. They got him.
on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Last of the seventh in downtown Toronto, a new pitcher and a new right fielder for the Orioles. Welcome back to Rogers Center, 9-5. Baltimore leading right now, and they'll call on Yenier Cano, the sinker baller, right-hander, making his first appearance of the season after 70 games with Baltimore last year. Out in right field as well, Heston Kjerstad has been defensively replaced as one of the best throwers of the ball in all of baseball. Ramon Urias takes over in right. Nathan Lucas will lead it off, 9-1-2 this inning for the Blue Jays. Cano kicks, releases, and Lucas powers it foul, left side, 0-1. The 0-1. Another one hit well, foul off to the left, 0-2.
Yenier Cano's a big dude, 6'4", 245 pounds, out of Havana, Cuba. Like you said, the sinker baller gets up to about 95, 96 miles an hour with that pitch, a tough out.
The 0-2. Outside. Just through the changeup. It's a power change, averages 91, 92. Has a slider and a four-seamer as well. People around the Orioles told me he's worked on a cutter this spring too. The 1-2. Called, strike three. Fastball on the inside black gets Lucas, one out.
That was the old four-seam fastball. I think Nathan Lucas was expecting that thing to move a little bit more than it did. It stayed true, stayed in the strike zone. That's what you get from Yenier Cano. Sometimes you get a sinker, sometimes you get a four-seamer. He's tough.
Cano facing Bo Bichette. One out, base is empty, the pitch. Outside, ball one. Very nice day at the plate for Bo Bichette. 2 hits, a walk, and 2 runs scored. The 1-0. Called strike with the slider.
Bo didn't like that call, shaking his head, having a conversation with Ryan Addington back there. Close pitch, might have been off by a hair.
The 1-1. Swing and a deep fly ball, right field line, slicing foul, 1-2. Bichette has punished the Orioles in his career, a .326 batter in 64 games against Baltimore coming into this one. The 1-2. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Cano staring in at Ryan Addington. Thought that pitch was a strike, but that was about 2 balls off. That wasn't even close.
Yeah, that was. You're not getting that one.
Some good acting out there from Cano.
Righty twists and deals. And Bichette rips it down the left field line. Base hit rolling toward the corner. Bo racing around first. He'll jog in his second with a 1-out stand-up double.
That actually wasn't a bad pitch from Cano. A good changeup with a ton of movement on it. Down in the strike zone, but again, Bo Bichette is seeing the ball very well right now. He just drops that barrel and hammers that thing into left field.
First extra base hit of the year for Bo Bichette. 3rd hit of the day. And right now he's 5 for 11 on the season.
He's a different guy.
He's on second for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., the pitch. Outside and low, ball 1. (9-5) Orioles. Blue Jays need to get back a couple runs here to make the comeback realistic. The 1-0. Swing and a miss. Fooled by the slider outside. Guerrero 1 for 3 with a run scored. The 1-1. Low, 2 balls, 1 strike.
Good take right there from Vlad. Another slider, this time below the strike zone. Cano's got great stuff.
He really does. ERA near 3 last year, near 2 the year before that. The 2-1. Swing and a miss. Drove a 93-mile-per-hour changeup in on the hands to make it 2-2.
A ton of movement on that changeup, too. Underneath, kind of sank underneath the hands of Vladimir. Started right down the middle.
The pitch. Poked foul. Guerrero reached down and away to get that ball that probably would have been ball 3, but he's in protect mode, and he hits out of play to stay alive. Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Bichette on second. 9-5 Orioles. The pitch. Low ball 3.
How about that take? That's a pro take.
Just spit on the changeup that was low of the zone. Never looked like he wanted to swing at that pitch. The 3-2. Poked on the ground to second base. Bichette will advance to third, but Westberg picks it up and throws out Guerrero. 2 down. So another big spot as the Blue Jays try to creep back closer. Former teammate of Yenier Cano, Anthony Santander, will bat from the left side. Bichette on third, 2 outs, 9-5 Orioles, bottom 7. The pitch. High ball 1.
Well, there's no doubt that Santander knows exactly what Cano throws, but that really doesn't make it any easier when you throw 96 with all kinds of sink.
Expect a lot of changeups here to a left-handed hitter. The 1-0. Swing and a grounder foul, screaming past Mark Budzinski. 1-1. Cano set at the belt. Deals home. And misses down and in.
That changeup there was 94.
It's a changeup grip, but I mean, it's just almost another sinker in a way.
Yeah, it's just a sinker that moves a little bit more than his actual sinker.
The 2-1. Swing and a missile foul way off to the right. 2-2. That was the new cutter from Yenier Cano, and he got it inside enough that all Santander could do was take it or hit it foul. Cano dangling his right arm beside his body as he looks in to Gary Sanchez. Now he's set. The right-hander's 2-2. Fouled straight back.
Pretty good job right there. It's a tough pitch. Again, you see so much movement with that sinker, with that changeup, and then all of a sudden he flips in that 4-seamer that stays true, doesn't really do much, has a little bit more velocity to it. It's tough to hit.
Another 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Got him on the change to end the inning. Bo Bichette's 1-out double stranded. A scoreless inning from Yenier Cano, and we go to the 8th. Orioles up 9-5. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. We're back on the track Sunday,
2 p.m. Eastern,
from Martinsville Speedway.
It's the Cookout 400. Martinsville, anything could happen.
On SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90, in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
Hey, work, guys!
Get closer to everything that moves you, wherever you are, with the SiriusXM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer! Yeah!
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
In a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio, every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
Let the games begin.
On Sirius XM, you get all the sports play-by-play you want and all the live sports talk you need. It's always a home game when you listen to the NFL, NHL, NBA, and MLB on the Sirius XM app.
How good is that?
We fuel your fandom with NASCAR, the biggest college games, PGA, and soccer. And when news breaks, hear instant reaction.
We got a big developing story out of Cincinnati.
The Sirius XM app. Everything a sports fan needs, all in one place. Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and always on the Sirius XM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. Welcome back to downtown Toronto, top of the 8th inning, game 3 of the season. Blue Jays trailing the Orioles 9-5. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. It's Jimmy Garcia taking over on the mound for the Blue Jays. He'll deal to Gary Sanchez. First pitch hit on the ground, foul, just past third. 0-1. Second appearance of the season for Garcia, who pitches on back-to-back days for the first time. Threw a scoreless inning yesterday with a strikeout. His 0-1. Called strike, dropped the breaking ball in there to get ahead 0-2.
Yeah, Gary Sanchez kind of flinched. It's a good feeling when you can get a good power hitter like that to kind of flinch on a breaking ball right down the middle.
Cuban right-hander Garcia set at the belt. His 0-2. High with a heater at 97, ball 1. Upper 90s heat for Jimmy Garcia with a four-seamer and sinker. 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him with an inner half fastball, 1 down.
Yeah, tied him up. Didn't allow Gary Sanchez to get those arms out. It's a good pitch. Upper 90s on the inside part of the plate. Almost unhittable from Garcia.
Big re-addition to the Blue Jay pen. 2-year, $15 million deal after being traded at the deadline to the Mariners last year. The pitch to Jackson Holliday. Low and away, ball 1. Garcia, the 4th reliever for the Blue Jays today. Max Scherzer had to exit early with right lat soreness. 1-0. Called high, 2 balls, no strikes.
Garcia wanted that one staring in at Ryan Addison. Might have been a ball, but might have been a strike.
The 2-0. Check swing, called strike, 2-1. Handful of a matchup for the lefty hitter Jackson Holliday. Garcia with 6 different pitches and a fastball in the upper 90s. The 2-1. Fouled right back. 95 on the outside corner, 2-2.
That fastball is moving all over the place. You can tell by the swings and the reaction of Jackson Holliday. He's just not comfortable in the box. That fastball started down the middle and ended up on the outside part of the plate, maybe even off the plate. Jackson Holliday in a fastball count with the awkward swing.
1 out, bases empty, 9-5 Orioles, top of the 8th. The 2-2. Hit foul just over the screen and into the seats. Holliday hitless today, but hit his first home run of the season yesterday. 2-2. Chopped on the ground to third. Clement backing up, fields it. Sidearm throw to first in time. 2 outs. Clement was shaded close to shortstop, but as he showed last year, he can play both of those positions very well, so it wasn't uncomfortable for him, and there are 2 down.
Clement's got all kinds of swag, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got some quiet. I don't think he's outward with it. But
no, I think it's just natural.
He's smooth feeling.
It's just naturally smooth, yeah.
Gold Glove third baseman Ramon Urias to the plate. The pitch. Called strike. Urias won that Gold Glove a couple years ago, somewhat controversially over then Blue Jay Matt Chapman, because Urias only made 84 starts at third that year. The 0-1. Bouncer over the mound, long run. Jimenez fields in front of Bichette. Throw is bouncing past Guerrero and into the fence of the Oriole dugout. Runner is safe. Jimenez could have got to that ball. He did get to it, but it might have been an easier angle for Bichette.
Yeah, I think that if Jimenez let Bichette take that slow roller, I don't know if Bichette would have got him, but it definitely would have been an easier play for him going towards first base. But Jimenez unfortunately snagged that baseball, made the errant throw. They gave him a base hit, right?
They did.
Yeah, that's a tough play for Jimenez.
No guarantee the throw would have beat him, but it never got there to let us know. And now the top of the order is up. Jimmy Garcia facing off with Colton Cowser. First pitch. Called strike.
Actually, watching that slow motion replay, there's no doubt in my mind that Bo Bichette would have easily gotten the out at first base.
It's Bichette's moving towards first. Jimenez moving away from first. The middle infield still getting used to each other in Game 3 of the season. 0-1. Downstairs, 1 ball, 1 strike. Orioles 9, Blue Jays 5, a big 4-run fourth for Baltimore as the next pitch is bounced in 2-1. The inning that Scherzer came out, the Orioles scored 4 on Richard Lovelady. Now they've tacked on 3 more since, but that big inning really the difference in the game.
Yeah, and unfortunately Max Scherzer was starting to look good. He was starting to look clean and smooth. The pitches were getting a little bit better.
The 2-1. Outside ball 3.
That lat just didn't hold up. We thought it was the thumb, but we've heard it's the lat, so that's a good sign.
Scherzer had retired 7 straight before he exited the game. The Blue Jays were up 4-2. The 3-1. Line drive hit to second, caught there by Jimenez to end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left for the Orioles. Middle of the 8th, 9-5. Baltimore leads. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center.
Here at Home Hardware's Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale, everyone's saving on everything they need to tackle their reno project. Like bringing their living room into this century with 25% off Canadian-made Beauty Tone Pure Interior and Specialty Paint. Or tackling that bathroom reno with up to $200 off Max Shower Units. That's better. Earn and redeem Scene Plus points during the Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale. On now at Home Hardware and Building Centers.
Enter Night Mode.
It's a stylish Friday night in the city.
Every Friday home game.
No doubter.
Where we celebrate everything that makes our city one of a kind.
Anything that counts.
Would you always feel like part of the show? On Friday, April 18th, be at the ballpark early and get your Blue Jays City Connect Bomber Jacket giveaway presented by Enercare. The first 50,000 fans will be geared up for spring nights in the city. City Connect Fridays. Night Mode. Lights up. Let's go. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Rogers Xfinity Internet is ready for everything, so you can search and stream and shop and study and share and play and post and work and watch and game and work out and download and wow, that's a lot. And now you can save a lot too at the Rogers Spring Event. Visit in-store or Rogers.com and save up to $20 a month on a 24-month term on Canada's most reliable internet. Get Rogers Xfinity Internet and be ready to do more everything.
This is Jose Berrios, and you're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Flamethrowing lefty Gregory Soto into the game for the Baltimore Orioles, trying to protect Baltimore's 9-5 lead as we get going in the bottom of the 8th inning. Appreciate you tuning into Game 3 of the season. I'm Ben Schulman. My left is Chris LaRue. Blue Jays trailing by 4. They'll have 4, 5, 6 in the lineup hitting this frame, starting with Andres Jimenez in a left-on-left matchup. Soto with a breath and the pitch. High ball 1.
Tough matchup for Jimenez, but as we mentioned yesterday, Soto's a guy that will walk you. 27 walks last year in just 53 innings. That's more than 4.5 per 9.
His 1-0. High again, ball 2. He's got great stuff, but he's a little bit erratic. 2-time All-Star as a closer with the Tigers, but it's been much more up and down in the years since. The 2-0. High again, ball 3. I mean, yesterday's outing was really Gregory Soto in a nutshell. He hit the first batter and then struck out the next 3.
Yeah, and he showed that really, really good fastball.
The 3-0. Way up and in, ball 4. And 4 misses. Most of them not that close, and the Blue Jays have a leadoff base runner.
And if you go back to 2021, you look at his stats, a pretty good year, 62 games, 3.39 ERA, 18 saves. He walked 40 guys in 63 innings. That's a ton of walks for a bullpen guy.
And he was an All-Star that year and the next year. His time in Philly, though, much more up and down, traded at the deadline to the Orioles last season. His pitch to Alejandro Kirk finds the top of the zone, strike 1. Everything has been up, though, out of the hand from Soto so far.
And there's a big hole on the right side of the infield. Jordan Westburg shaded towards second base.
Next pitch called strike, 0-2.
And as we've seen over the course of his career, Alejandro Kirk is really good at going the other way.
Action in both bullpens. Runner on first, no outs. The 0-2, Kirk had asked for time. Pitch comes in anyway, but it won't count. Seranthony Dominguez is up right now in the right field pen. Second time that he's loosened up today. And it looks like we'll see the Blue Jay debut of Jeff Hoffman. He's loosening up for Toronto in left. 0-2 swing and a miss. Strike 3. 97 in on the hands. 1 out.
Yeah, that's Soto in a nutshell, like you said. He'll walk the guy, and then he'll just throw that 97, 98, 99 on a black inside. Almost an unhittable pitch.
Pinch hitter for the Blue Jays. Rather than left-on-left matchup with Will Wagner, they go to the bench to George Springer, who appears now in his 3rd game of 3 this season. Jimenez on first, 1 out. The pitch. Breaking ball for a strike. That was the slider from Soto. He also has a sweeper. The 0-1. Way outside. Tried the slide step and really did not locate the breaking ball. So much so that Gary Sanchez is going to go out to the mound.
Well, that's what happens a lot of the times when you slide step. It doesn't give your arm enough time to get up, and you end up leaving that pitch arm side high. Soto leaves that thing way outside of George Springer.
Wonder if Sanchez is even saying, like, hey, don't mess around. We're up 4. Just do your thing. Even if Jimenez scores, from the Oriole perspective, we're up 3.
You should be a catcher or a pitching coach.
I'm a lefty and I have no shot, but I appreciate it. Springer 2 for 7 this season. Both hits yesterday. The 1-1. Inside, ball 2.
Pretty good take right there from George Springer.
He's a good guy for this spot because his eye is so sharp. Even as the numbers have diminished a little the last 2 years, he's walked a ton. The 2-1. Inside again, ball 3.
That's 2 good heaters in a row from Soto in off the plate. It's got to be unnerving for George Springer to see those high 90s fastballs in off the plate.
And those are sinkers, so they're starting like they're going to hit Springer and then working back toward the plate. The 3-1. High and outside, ball 4. A pinch hit walk for George Springer. Jimenez pushed up to second, and this is what the Blue Jays need. Down 9-5. Base runners are the goal for Toronto, and it looks like Gregory Soto is going to be done in this game. Brandon Hyde is striding out to the mound He hasn't made the point yet, and now he will for Sir Anthony Dominguez. So Gregory Soto out after 2 walks and a strikeout. The tying run is on deck for the Blue Jays, down 9-5, 1 out bottom of the 8th. Let's go over to today's host, Show Ali.
Thanks very much, Ben. Let's do a quick check of the out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Across Major League Baseball, quick check there. We caught up with the Yankees earlier, a 20-9 shellacking of the Brewers in the Bronx. Aaron Judge with 3 home runs and 8 total RBI. Monster day for the reigning AL MVP. A few other finals. The Angels beat the White Sox 1-0. Yoan Moncada, the former White Sox himself, scoring the lone run for the Angels, an RBI single. Jose Soriano went 7 innings, allowing just 2 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. We also had the Cardinals beating the Twins 5-1. Lars Newbar leading the way in that one with 2 RBI and a walk. Eric Fetty went 6 innings, allowing 2 hits, 1 earned run, and he also grabbed the win. Some other scores from games happening right now. The Guardians lead the Royals 3-1. Stephen Kwan with a solo home run in that one. The Giants lead the Reds 2-1. The Rockies on top of the Rays right now, bottom of the 5th, 1-0. In the Chris LaRue Bowl, Pirates on the Marlins playing. Pirates up 1-0 on Miami. And the Phillies and Nationals right now are tied at 2. I mentioned it's hockey night tonight. Lots of games going on in the NHL calendar today, including a few games from earlier. The Flyers thumping the Sabres 7-4. The Lightning holding on for the win in the end. Jake Gensel got the empty netter. Bolts win 5-3. Nikita Kucherov also with a goal on this one. He now has 11 points in his last 3 games. The Leafs play later tonight. The Panthers are off tonight. So with the win, Tampa Bay sits at 90 points, while the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Florida Panthers sit at 91. So the race for the Atlantic Division crown is quite tight. Right now, the Blues are in Denver taking on the Avalanche. Nathan McKinnon scoring a couple minutes ago to tie the game at 1 in the first period. And later tonight, we have Devils at Wild. That goes at 6 Eastern, so that's in about 30 minutes. Golden Knights at Preds. That one goes at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. That's in an hour. The Leafs continue their West Coast trip. They're in LA to take on the Kings. That game goes at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on both Sportsnet and the CBC. After the game is over, you can catch Leafs Talk with JD Bunkus and Sam McKee. That'll be on Sportsnet's YouTube page and Sportsnet Plus. With the pitching change, we also have a batter change. Alan Roden striding into the batter's box. Blue Jays baseball, of course, brought to you by Crown Rest Protection. Here's Ben and Chris.
Thank you very much, Joe. Sir Anthony Dominguez into the game. The right-hander's second appearance of the year with runners on first and second and 1 out. His pitch to Alan Roden. Down and in, ball 1. Dominguez pitched a scoreless 7th inning in the season opener, although it was around 2 walks, a hit, and a wild pitch. He just got out of it unscathed. The 1-0. Broken bat flare to third. That's going to be caught chest high by Urias. Dominguez sawing off Roden for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, another flamethrower out of that Orioles bullpen. That fastball 98 from Dominguez. The former closer just saws off Roden.
16 saves for Dominguez as a rookie with the Phillies in 2018. 38 career saves. Jumped into the Baltimore closer role late last year. The pitch to Ernie Clement. Bounce to the plate. Diving block by Gary Sanchez. Selling out for that one. 1-0. Orioles 9, Blue Jays 5. It's been a solid offensive day for Toronto. 5 runs on 7 hits. But they're going to need a lot more to win this game. Springer on first. Jimenez on second. The 1-0. Swing and a miss out in front of the breaking pitch, and it's 1-1.
And the Blue Jays have had their chances. They just really haven't had the big hit yet later on in this ball game. Not out of this thing yet.
Left a runner in scoring position 3 times in the last 3 innings. A swing and a miss at the 1-1, and Dominguez gets ahead 1-2. Jeff Hoffman is loose and ready to go, although he wouldn't mind waiting out there a little bit longer if the Blue Jays can rally. 1-2 pitch. Down and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Good take from Ernie Clement. Tough slider, 87, down and away. Looked like a strike. The bottom part of that strike zone and broke away.
It's the main secondary pitch for Sir Anthony Dominguez, who has the high 90s fastball to go with it. 2-2. Fastball outside at 97, ball 3.
You can see Ernie Clement really watching that pitch come in, bending the knees, making sure he had a good eye on it. It's a big pitch right here for the Blue Jays.
Only walked 11 times last year in 139 games did Clement. The 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him on the breaking ball, down and away, and that will do it for the 8th inning. 2 left on with 2 walks by Toronto. They trail 9-5 going to the 9th. Jeff Hoffman debuts for the Blue Jays. Next, you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hey Daddy Gang, this is Alex Cooper. The SiriusXM app is your home for all things Unwell. All new exclusive channels from me and my friends. Unwell Music. I can feel my face when I'm with you. The latest episodes of your favorite podcasts. Amy Schumer, Monica Lewinsky, Nicole Richie and Paris Hilton, Winnie Harlow, welcome back.
Hello, poor daddy.
And more live, unfiltered conversations for the girls.
We're gonna believe this. Who was it?
Why? Just search Unwell in the SiriusXM app.
VSiN, the sports betting network, is back on SiriusXM. Go to channel 158 for informed wagering and fantasy advice from familiar voices like Gil Alexander, Paulie Howard, and Mitch Moss. Plus, SiriusXM mainstays Adam Shine, Rich Gannon, and the guru, John Hansen. We're getting you ready for the upcoming games with a finger on the pulse of the latest news and the moving lines and odds. VSiN, the sports betting network, is now on SiriusXM 158 and on the SiriusXM app.
Hey, baseball fans, Jim Bowden here. Spring training is officially underway, and we're bringing you inside the action.
That's right, JB. I'm Jim Duquette, and from the top prospects to the veteran comebacks, who's making the roster? We'll break it all down.
Stay tuned as we dive into the biggest stories of the spring with expert insight, interviews, and all the latest news from all the ballparks.
It's spring training like you've never heard it before.
Front Office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
After the game, join us on MLB Network Radio. We're talking baseball with you all season long on SiriusXM Channel 89 and the SiriusXM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
A Blue Jays debut that's been a long time in the making. Jeff Hoffman takes the mound for Toronto in the 9th inning. Blue Jays trail 9-5 to the Baltimore Orioles at Rogers Center. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Hoffman will face Adley Rutschman to start the inning. 6'5" righty's pitch is high and outside, ball 1. Hoffman, the 9th overall pick by the Blue Jays in 2014 out of East Carolina, dealt away a year later to Colorado in the Troy Tulowitzki deal. The 1-0. High, 2 balls, no strikes. Was up and down for a while with the Colorado Rockies, found some form in the bullpen of the Reds, and was an all-star last year, his second season as a Philadelphia Philly. His 2-0. Called strike, 2-1.
And the thing that sticks out to me with Hoffman the most is that high strikeout rate. Last year in 2024, he had 89 strikeouts in 66 and a third innings.
His 2-1. Called strike, 2-2. Had Rutschman ducking out of the way of the splitter, and it dropped back arm side onto the plate.
Yeah, that split finger is the difference maker for him. He has that high 90s fastball, of course, but then he has that split finger that looks like a fastball, and it's about 89 to 92 miles an hour.
Throws a slider as well. His 2-2. Hit on the ground, sliding stop at third. Clement gets up, rifles to first, just in time. Ball was dropped on the transfer. It will be an out, and there's one down. Tough short hop for Ernie Clement, and kind of a half slide, half fall to the ground to make sure he reeled it in.
Another swaggy play for Ernie over there at shortstop, even though he's the third baseman. Playing way to his left, almost in the hole there where the shortstop would be.
So 1 out, the pitch to Ryan O'Hearn. Swing and a miss, strike 1. That was the slider that generated a swing and a miss 45% of the time last year. That is a huge whiff number. The 0-1. Bounce to the plate, 1 ball, 1 strike. Hoffman joining the Blue Jays on a 3-year, $33 million deal this offseason to be the closer. Is 1-1. Check swing. Pitch was high. Appeal to third is not granted by the home plate umpire Ryan Addington, so it'll stay a ball, 2-1.
The interesting thing about Hoffman's situation is the Blue Jays just slotted him into that closer role, but he really only has 12 career saves.
The 2-1. Called strike, 2-2.
Putting a lot of faith in a guy that really hasn't done it all that much in the big leagues. Good stuff, though.
Took over the closing role for part of the year for the Phillies last year. Would have been the closer for most of the season, but they went and got Carlos Estevez from the Angels at the deadline. 2-2. Hit on the ground foul. Still 2-2.
And for those that don't know, it takes a different kind of mentality to be a big league closer. Not just stuff. You have to be a little crazy. Jordan Romano was a little crazy.
The 2-2. Fouled off the mask of Kirk.
He does have that fastball, though, 98.
And I kind of look at it as there's two different personalities that you see a lot in closers. You see kind of the maniac, which is Jordan Romano, twitching around, really looking scary out there on the mound. And then you see these guys who never show any emotion whatsoever. Hoffman is more in the second bucket. Talked to me a little bit in spring about how he learned from Wade Davis as a young pitcher. 2-2. Hit well right field, right at Anthony Santander. He'll make the catch on the liner. 2 outs.
I guess one of those closers that is really calm out there would be like a Mariano Rivera.
Yeah.
Something like that. Really not crazy at all.
No, the Blue Jays had Casey Janssen successfully close for them for a while. He was not a guy that looked like Romano in any way.
Mm-hmm.
2 down in Hoffman's Blue Jay debut. By the way, a new left fielder, Alan Roden, in. First pitch outside to Jordan Westbrook, ball 1. Roden had pinch hit in the spot of Davis Schneider last inning, and now he takes over for Schneider defensively.
I guess the biggest thing when you're out there and you're closing, you can't get rattled. That's really the biggest thing.
The 1-0. Hit weakly on the ground towards short. Bichette charging, gloves, throws to first, not in time. Ryan Wills looked like he was in two minds for a second, the first base ump, but he gave the big safe sign, and it's an infield hit for Westburg.
I think the Blue Jays are taking a look. John Schneider just said play on, but Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was staring in that dugout for 5 or 6 seconds, waiting for the call.
Orioles with a handful of infield hits today, and not sure that Bichette or Guerrero could have done much more there, but on the replay, we can see that was safe. So runner on first with 2 outs. Turn and throw to first. Good move, and a late dive back in safely by Westburg.
I know this is a small sample size, but Bo Bichette is playing very, very well so far this season.
Yeah, his play at shortstop, too, has been really good. A lot of attention on the bat, but I think he's had a really nice 3 games at short. The pitch to Cedric Mullins, high ball 1. John Schneider had mentioned before the game when I asked him about Bichette's defensive development that early it was about making the routine play for Bo, but now he's really year after year stacked on more and more defensively. He's more confident out there at short. The 1-0. High 2-0. And he pointed out the play Bo made from left field to get Ryan Mountcastle yesterday. He said years ago he would have sidearmed that ball in, but now he kind of knows when to use each arm slot. Set his feet, threw over the top for the long throw, and got Mountcastle. The 2-0 in the dirt ball 3.
Yeah, I had actually mentioned when he made that play, it wasn't the backhand play that was the most difficult part of that play. It was the planting his feet, throwing across the diamond, a good 4-seam throw right to Vlad's chest. That was the most impressive thing to me.
Bichette shaded up the middle with the lefty hitter Mullins up. The 3-0. Swing and a miss. Mullins had the green light, and he beat him with 96 in the zone. Three balls, 1 strike, 2 outs, top of the 9th, 9-5 Orioles. Runner on first, Hoffman peeks at him and pitches home. Swing and a foul tip, strike 2.
Good fastball there, challenging Cedric Mullins. A little bit of sink on that 4-seam fastball.
Vladdy no longer holding on the runner Westburg, who will have a head start on the pitch. The 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Scoreless first inning as a Blue Jay for Jeff Hoffman. Around an infield single. The Orioles leave one on, and we go to the bottom of the ninth. 4 to tie, 5 to win it for the Blue Jays, who trail 9-5. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network, you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center.
Here at Home Hardware's Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno sale, everyone's saving on everything they need to tackle their reno project. Like bringing their living room into this century with 25% off Canadian-made Beauty Tone Pure Interior and Specialty Paint. Or tackling that bathroom reno with up to $200 off Max Shower Units. That's better. Earn and redeem Scene Plus points during the Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno sale. On now at Home Hardware and Building Centers.
Spring is here. We are all happy to see winter in our rearview mirror. But did you know that spring is a red zone for rust? The combination of leftover winter road salt, increased precipitation, and warmer weather are a perfect recipe for corrosion. Protect your vehicle from rust today by visiting your local Crown Rust Protection Center or book your appointment today at crown.com. For a special spring rust protection offer, visit your local Crown Rust Protection Center.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Out of here! Out of here! Davis Snyder wins it!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball. Show Ali with you. The Blue Jays trailing the Orioles 9-5 as we head to the bottom of the ninth inning right here at the Rogers Center. Don't forget, we do have Jays Talk today. Julia Kreutz is here at the Dome. She and I will have the post-game show. We'll take your calls and your texts this evening. I think if things don't turn around in the next couple of minutes, I am going to guess how the calls and texts will sound. But either way, we will take your calls and texts, and we'll throw out the numbers for you to call after the final out. Blue Jays Baseball, as always, is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. The Blue Jays trail 9-5 in the bottom of the ninth. Here's Ben Shulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Show. The 6'8", 285-pound right-hander, a nose tackle masquerading as a major league closer. Felix Bautista makes his return to a major league mound for the first time since August of 2023. Non-save situation for Bautista, but he'll enter this game where the Orioles are leading 9-5 and showcase his electric stuff for the first time in about a year and a half.
Yeah, 2023 was a great year for him, statistically speaking. 8-2 with a 1.48 ERA. I mentioned Jeff Hoffman's strikeout numbers. How about these strikeout numbers? 110 strikeouts in just 61 innings pitched for Felix Bautista.
For those not doing the math at home, that's over 16 strikeouts per nine. Sinker, splitter, slider. He faces Nathan Lucas. The righty's pitch. Inside, ball one. That fastball at 96, also a pitch clock violation, by the way, so that's actually ball two. Bautista rocks and deals. And hits the bottom of the zone with 97, strike one.
I mean, he's still got the big fastball. 96, 97 really isn't a slow fastball, but when Felix Bautista is throwing 100, that's a big difference.
The 2-1. Fouled right back. That was 98, 2-2. His velocity was down in spring training. He had said that he was just warming up. Plus, he didn't have the adrenaline of a major league game. We'll see how his first major league game back since August of 23 happens right now. The 2-2. Upstairs. 3-2. Did not get on top of that splitter. Missed high. As great as the fastball is, it's really a setup pitch in a way for that wipeout splitter. His payoff pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Went back to the splitter and got him one down.
Yeah, the hardest thing about that split finger is the fastball and the split finger come out of the same arm slot. You can see in the slow motion replay, yes, he's holding that split finger grip, but the arm looks exactly like the fastball, almost impossible to hit. That's why those strikeout numbers are so gaudy.
First strikeout of 2025 for Bautista. Now he deals to Bo Bichette. Down and away, ball one. Blue Jays trailing 9-5 in a game that they led 4-2 before Max Scherzer left early. Bullpen has surrendered 7 runs in 6 innings. The 1-0. Fouled back. Bichette stumbling after he made contact with 97, 1-1. Bautista rocks and delivers. Just missed low at 98. 2 balls, 1 strike.
And that's what you have to do when you're facing a guy with a big fastball and a good split finger. If that pitch is below the strike zone or at the bottom of the strike zone, just let it go.
The 2-1. Swing and a deep drive. Left field. Hooking toward the wall. It's off the top of the fence. Bouncing into the left field corner. Bichette sprinting into second. He's got a stand-up double. His 4th hit and 2nd double today.
Boy, oh boy, is he seeing the ball well right now. 84 with that slider from Bautista right down the middle. And Bo Bichette did not miss it. Hammered that thing off the wall in left field for a double.
There's nothing that's easy to hit from Felix Bautista, but if you want one pitch out of his hand, it's the slider, his 3rd best pitch in 2023. Bichette saw it and crushed it, and now Guerrero is up with 1 out. 9-5 Orioles. Bautista looks at second, delivers home. Called strike, 0-1. Went right back to the slider. Guerrero 1 for 4 with a single and a run scored. The 0-1. High and outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. .68 Bautista sets just at his belt. The 1-1. Swing and a pop-up. First base side foul, and that just has enough on it to get out of play. 1-2.
You can tell that Bautista really doesn't have the same life on that fastball that he had a couple of years ago. But again, it's still early. This is his first game since 2023. And like you mentioned, spring training, just getting the feel for everything. Eventually, he'll be throwing 100 miles an hour again.
Here's 1-2. Fouled off by Vlad, who lost his bat into the netting off to the left of the plate, but still somehow made contact with 98 to keep himself at the plate. "13 pitches so far for Bautista. 8 strikes, 5 balls. Runner on second, 1 out. And another 1-2 pitch to Guerrero. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Lost a piece of equipment on the way as well. Vladdy goes down on a splitter, 2 outs.
And again, that pitch out of the hand of Bautista looked like a fastball, so you have to respect the 98, and then it just essentially just stops. That splitter right there looked like a fastball, 89 miles an hour. Vlad was way out in front.
Anthony Santander up to the plate, 1 for 4. A single in the first inning and an RBI, and then 3 strikeouts after that. Last hope for the Blue Jays, who trail 9-5. Bichette on second, 2 down. And the pitch to Santander. Bounce to the plate, ball 1. Not that anyone has it easy at all against Bautista, but Santander, a guy who watched him both of his years in the big leagues, has more than likely hit live BPs against someone like Felix Bautista. Here's the 1-0. Upstairs, ball 2.
I'd have to assume that doesn't make it that much easier.
No, definitely. There's no situation where it's easy to hit Felix Bautista. But some familiarity, and Bautista does have the benefit of an open first base and a 4-run lead. He can pitch around Santander if he wants to. The 2-0. Inside, ball 3. You could walk Santander, give up a home run to Andres Gimenez, and still have a 1-run lead right now with 2 outs.
Yeah, that's probably what he's thinking right now.
3-0 count. You figure Santander has a green light. The pitch. Way upstairs, ball 4. It's a walk. And the tying run now on deck for the Blue Jays. They'll need Andres Gimenez to reach here to make the comeback a possibility.
Bautista nodding his head at Gary Sanchez after he threw that pitch. He knew that he didn't want any part of Santander after he fell behind 2-0. Not a bad thing for Bautista right there, walking Santander and facing Gimenez.
2 home runs in 3 games for Andres Gimenez. The only 2 home runs so far for the Blue Jays. First and second, 2 down. 9-5 Orioles, bottom of the 9th. The pitch. High ball 1. Only thing with that walk is the pitch count is climbing for Felix Bautista. He's about to throw his 20th. Deepest he went in spring was 26 pitches. The 1-0. Called strike. Flipped in the breaking ball.
I'd imagine if he loses Gimenez, somebody will get loose in that Orioles bullpen. Not because they don't have faith in Bautista, because they don't want that pitch count to be elevated.
I'm almost surprised they don't have someone up now just due to the injury history. 1-1. Swing and a miss. Had him out in front on the splitter, and the Orioles a strike away. Andres Gimenez will ask for time and adjust the batting gloves. He's 1 for 3 today, a 2-run homer and a walk. Blue Jays down 9-5. Bichette off second, Santander off first. 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. The 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him on the splitter, and Bautista strikes out a trio to help the Orioles to a 9-5 win.
Well, I think the biggest thing about this game is the early exit of Max Scherzer. He pitched really well in this ball game. He only threw 3 innings, but that first inning was a little bit shaky, and then he started to get better and better. The velo started to creep up a little bit, but then all of a sudden he was out of the game. We heard that he had a little lat issue. It wasn't the thumb, so that's a good thing for Max Scherzer and the Toronto Blue Jays, but ultimately the bullpen just didn't get it done today.
Blue Jays lose 9-5. We'll take a quick step aside, wrap it up, and then get you over to Blue Jays Talk. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Here at Home Hardware's Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale, everyone's saving on everything they need to tackle their reno project. Like bringing their living room into this century with 25% off Canadian-made Beauty Tone Pure Interior and Specialty Paint. Or tackling that bathroom reno with up to $200 off Max shower units. That's better. Earn and redeem Scene Plus points during the Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale. On now at Home Hardware and Building Centers.
Spring is here. We are all happy to see winter in our rearview mirror. But did you know that spring is a red zone for rust? The combination of leftover winter road salt, increased precipitation, and warmer weather are a perfect recipe for corrosion. Protect your vehicle from rust today by visiting your local Crown Rust Protection Center or book your appointment today at crown.com. For a special spring rust protection offer, visit your local Crown Rust Protection Center.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. He gets Verdugo for his 7th strikeout.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Back at Rogers Center to wrap it up after a Blue Jays 9-5 loss to the Baltimore Orioles. Appreciate you sticking around with us. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. We will get you over to Blue Jays Talk in just a moment, so don't go anywhere if you're waiting for that. Toronto having Max Scherzer make his Blue Jay debut today against Dean Kramer. Scherzer had a tough first inning, but as Chris mentioned at the end of the game, he ended up settling in a big way, got 7 guys in a row. And on the other side, Chris, the Blue Jays came out swinging. They had a lot of offense early, 4 runs in the first 3 innings, and contributions coming from the top 4.
Yeah, you have to look at Bo Bichette. I mean, I said this in spring training, and I think a lot of people noticed this. He looks like a different guy. He's seeing the ball so much better than he was last year, just making good swings on tough pitches. I mean, he was 4 for 4 today. Bo Bichette is a different character this year than he was last year. He's on pace to be a batting champion again. And like we mentioned early in the game or halfway through that ball game, he's playing well defensively as well. It's not just offensively. Bo Bichette is a solid player. 4 for 4 today, 2 runs and a walk. He's now hitting 500 on the season.
Bichette looking different and also looking like a lot of the same from what we know from Bo Bichette with the 2 doubles. He had a great day. The Blue Jays led 4-2 before Max Scherzer had to exit early after the 3rd inning with right lat soreness. I imagine the local beat writers are getting more information about that as we speak right now. We'll have an update coming into the broadcast tomorrow. But the Blue Jays were up 4-2. Andres Gimenez had homered for the 2nd time in the season, and then it quickly fell apart, Chris, especially in the 4th and 5th innings. The Blue Jays bullpen had a lot of trouble getting out of innings.
Yeah, Richard Lovelady and Jacob Barnes just really didn't get the job done. They gave up 6 runs between the 2 of them. The biggest thing with those 2 guys is they didn't get out number 1. They let the first guy get on base. And like I said during the broadcast, as a reliever, when you come in and you don't get that first out, things start to snowball, and you could see the wheels spinning in those guys when the Orioles started to make good contact. Richard Lovelady giving up 4 runs, 4 earned runs. Jacob Barnes giving up 2 runs. I mean, the game was over when those guys left the game.
Blue Jays went up against a Baltimore pen that combined for 3 2/3 innings of scoreless relief. Toronto had some chances. It was a good offensive day with 5 runs, but they did leave a runner in scoring position on base in each of the last 5 innings, and they fell 9-5 in the game. 9 runs on 12 hits for Baltimore, no errors, 5 left. The Blue Jays 5 runs on 8 hits, no errors, 8 left. Dean Kramer picks up the win. He's 1-0. Richard Lovelady with the loss in relief. No save today, although we did see the return of a healthy Felix Bautista, which wasn't great for the Blue Jays, but is great for baseball overall. 2-hour and 48-minute affair in front of over 27,000 here in downtown Toronto. And with the win, the Orioles are 2-1. In the loss, the Blue Jays go to 1-2. Toronto will try and even up this series against the Orioles tomorrow at 1:37 Eastern, 10:37 first pitch Pacific. Chris Bassett makes his season debut, and Tomoyuki Sugano makes his major league debut. A much anticipated matchup between 2 veterans. We will have that one for you with local pregame in Toronto starting at 1 o'clock. Really appreciate you tuning into this broadcast today. For our technical directors, Austin Mackey and Tom Young, our host, Show Ali, our producer, Nick Blackmore, my partner, Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Hope you have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you tomorrow. But stick around. It's time to get your thoughts heard. Blue Jays Talk with Julia Kreutz and Show Ali starts right now.
Well, Jules, the Blue Jays stay on the roller coaster to start the season. A blowout loss, a blowout win, and today a medium blowout loss, I suppose. A 9-5 defeat for the Blue Jays at the hands of the Orioles. The bullpen, at least the middle part of the bullpen, getting caved in after Scherzer departs early. And so far through 3 games of this 4-game set, the Jays have been out-homered 10-2, both home runs on the season to date coming from Andres Gimenez. But a 1-2 start for the Blue Jays this season. Some
pretty wild stats, Joe, to begin this season for the Blue Jays. Not exactly what you would expect. Obviously, I tend to talk about not all of it good. Dare I say most of it not good. Obviously, we can discuss Bo Bichette. I'm sure that Blue Jays fans are pretty happy with what they're seeing, but this one will probably be remembered by Max Scherzer exiting early and the bullpen not being able to hold on to the lead there, unfortunately, really.
That is Julia Kreutz. I'm Show Ali. You're listening to Jays Talk live on the Sportsnet Radio Network. We're also streaming on sportsnet.ca and on the Sportsnet app. You can give us a call. Vent your feelings if you like. 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. You can text us as well. Lots of texts for us to get to, Jules. 590-590, name and location. The People's Text line is always open. Standard messaging and data rates may apply. I just ask no cussing. So then we gotta censor it. But
Does
that's
that apply to me too, or
yes,
Okay.
actually, especially to you. I've heard how you speak off the air.
Fine.
It's wild. It's truly wild. No, I'm kidding. I'm actually only kind of kidding. Okay, let's talk about Max Scherzer. 3 innings from Scherzer, 3 hits, 2 runs, both of which were earned. No walks, 1 strikeout, but 45 pitches, 28 strikes. So we saw during the bottom of the 3rd inning, the bullpen gets up. Scherzer did not return. There was a shot on the telecast of him looking frustrated, talking to Schneider, kind of roaming around the dugout, and then Richard Lovelady gets up. And I have a lot to say on Lovelady and Barnes, but we'll get there. But the team saying he left due to right lat soreness. And I was concerned early in the game because, again, during the spring, he looked good. Right up until the thumb injury reared its ugly head again, he looked good. The velo looked good. The command looked good. Like he was touching speeds during the spring that he only touched a handful of times all of last year. And today, the velo on all of his pitches from the get-go, like right from the second pitch of the game, he gives up a home run, a 4-seamer that caught a little bit too much of the plate, and the velo was down. So safe to say he's still dealing with something. And it's interesting, right? Because the guys were talking about it during the broadcast, the thumb, and is it or is it not related to the lat? But Scherzer himself said that if you have thumb injuries, it can cause other injuries like in your elbow and the rest of your body. So I wonder how connected it is, but gosh, him leaving after 3 innings is never a good look.
Yeah, Show, and you kind of look at, a nerve issue and how connected everything can be, especially when you're talking about the nervous system and muscles and all of that. It's possible that it's connected. It's also possible that it isn't, which doesn't really make this any better, Show, because it keeps coming back, right? It's not something that is new. It's not something that would have snuck up on the Blue Jays in any way, shape, or form. It's something that has been on the radar. And obviously, we know that they were pretty optimistic, so much so that Scherzer took the mound today, which was the 3rd game of the season. And obviously, you trust the training staff. You trust the player especially. Scherzer is not someone who is going to either sugarcoat things or try to make things what they are not. He is a very straightforward guy by the accounts of pretty much everyone who has been in contact with him in this league, and everyone thought that it would be okay to have him start today. Now, it wasn't, and there's a legitimate possibility, Show, that it's not going to be okay in 5 days. So what is the contingency plan here? We've kind of heard some vague statements about that when we have asked in the past. Okay, we have Yariel Rodriguez in the pen who can cover some length, but what is the actual plan here if Scherzer is not ready to go in 5 days? Because we know that the starting depth of this club is not where anyone would like it to be, really. So is it Yariel coming out of the pen to actually start? Will the Blue Jays rely on Scherzer for around 50 pitches and kind of see what happens from there? Is someone like Jake Bloss going to get a call a little bit earlier than anticipated?
Eric Lauer?
Yeah, someone like that for sure. But then you start looking at a very different level of rotation or tier of rotation than you thought you were going to have when you signed Max Scherzer to that 1-year deal. There's just a lot to think about here, Show, and I'm sure that the team has contingency plans in place.
I don't know.
We have not heard about it, in clear terms, but it does make you wonder, what is this rotation actually going to look like next week, let alone, in the long term this season?
Yeah, you brought up Wyrod, and he got touched up a little on Thursday in relief, so I gotta think he is at least the first consideration if you need to backfill a start, and then you go down the list to Bloss or to Lauer or whoever, really, right? You go down that list, but I just and again, I'm going to give everyone credit for this. I think we're all thinking the same thing. There's one from I was just looking at it, actually. Oh, here it is. This is Jason from Thornhill. And he's not the only person who texted it. I'll read the other ones in a sec. But, hey, show, I hope you had a nice offseason. Can someone explain to me why Ryan Yarbrough was not good enough for our pen? And, I mean, look, I think we were all thinking that today, right? The decision to let Ryan Yarbrough go at the end of spring training, like on the last day of the spring, was not one I think either of us expected or really agreed with at the time. And we're certainly not the only people to have thought that. And it looks even worse now, right?
Yeah.
Because, again, to your point about the bullpen and about how the starting rotation affects the bullpen, I mean, it all trickles down. And it's a decision that I admit is a little baffling, right? I mean, we can talk about the bullpen in relation to this, right? Because I think it's safe to say in like 3 games, and I think a lot of people felt this way before the season even started, but I think we've all kind of seen enough from Richard Lovelady and Jacob Barnes, right? I mean, I think it's also pretty easy to say that they were probably never going to be particularly long for the roster, right? Like when it kind of felt like, when Swanson and Burr, one or both of them came back, that those 2 guys would have, if they were still on the roster at the time, been the first people to go. But, I mean, at this point, call up Mason Fluharty. Like, I was a big fan of Mason Fluharty in the spring. And, I mean, if you want the lefty, outside of Brendan Little, who had the injury scare yesterday. But, gosh, I mean, Lovelady comes in and gives up a double, a strikeout, hit by a pitch, sac fly, a 4-pitch walk, and then a 3-run double from Ramon Urias in an 0-2 count with 2 outs, in which Lovelady kind of just throws the ball right over the plate, right? And Barnes wasn't that much better either. And again, neither of them, I don't think anyone believed they were going to be like bullpen stalwarts necessarily, but it's just a tough look, like the texters are saying, like the callers, and we'll get to the callers in a sec, but it's a tough look to go Lovelady to Barnes, give up 6 runs in 2 innings and a third, with Yarbrough having been right there with proven results from last year. Like, I got to think that Dylan Tate will take a place in this bullpen pretty soon, maybe even sooner than mid-April, but the Lovelady choice is one that kind of baffles me. Like, even in a more micro sense from this game, Jules.
For sure.
Have someone else up and ready to come into the game after Lovelady hits 2 batters in a row. Yeah. Like, even if it's Jacob Barnes, bring in Jacob Barnes then instead of leaving Lovelady out there. It's just a tough look for those 2 guys to be your middle inning relievers.
That's precisely where my mind went when you just started talking about, the decision to bring them up on the roster. But for today's game, you have the lead, right? You have a lead, which is not easy to come by against this Orioles team, especially when you consider you're expecting to see the big arms in that pen. And the Orioles have been out hitting the Blue Jays for the entire series so far. And so to go with Lovelady with that lead, that fragile lead at that point, and not say, well, then bring in a Chad Green. I know that there is a matter of matchups here and all of that, but that was a pretty, as far as high leverage goes, that was pretty high up there at this point in the season. And if you have well-rested guys that you can call on, even though it is early in the game, that's the time to do it, Show. You can't just roll with Richard Lovelady and expect things to stay as they are against a team that has been hitting the cover off the baseball. That has been the Orioles so far. Save for yesterday, they had a little bit of an off day, but you can't expect that to keep happening. It's just too good of a lineup to count on that, and Blue Jays paid the price for those choices for sure.
416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Jen in Toronto. Jen, what's up? Welcome to Jays Talk.
Oh, hi. Welcome back.
How's it going, Jen?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be repetitive, I guess, but I don't understand the Yarbrough thing. He could eat up like 3-4 innings. Sure. He'll stymie people. The Jays continually do not. I remember since when Marcus Semien was on the team, all we needed was a good bullpen arm. We had a fantastic offense, and we didn't add firepower. And we don't have that. And I see Cano and Soto and then Batista come up. I mean, I know we have Yimi Garcia and Hoffman, but geez, we keep on doing this. And what the Lovelady thing and the Burns, and you know what I mean? I don't understand what Atkins is doing. Was it Yarbrough ditch him to save $1 million. I just want to hear from Atkins about this. But like the show, and glad it's not raining too much.
Yeah, thank you, Jen. Appreciate it. Yeah, there was some like ice storm concerns, I think, in the GTA. So that's good. I mean, the dome is closed. So I have no idea what it's like outside.
Yeah, we
right
appreciate
now,
the weather
that's
report
good.
for sure.
Thank you, Jen. I do appreciate it. It is an interesting conversation to have because there are a lot of messages, to Jen's point, Jules, about the bullpen sucks. Like, it hasn't been fixed. And when you look back to last year, it was the relief pitching in the 7th inning or later that really was the issue. Like last year, I think the bullpen, relief pitching in particular, had an ERA of well over 5 in the 7th inning or later. So they go out there and they try and alleviate that issue. They had Hoffman and they bring back Jimmy Garcia to help with that. And I do think it will help. I mean, those both guys pitched today and they both look pretty good, all things considered, especially Hoffman. The guy, I think, topped out at like 98.6 miles an hour towards the end of his inning of scoreless work there. So you like what you see from Hoffman. But to Jen's point, it just won't matter if the middle inning relief ends up being really bad. Because we talk often about, I mean, the circle of trust, we're going to bring that back this year, but we talk often about the path to the closer, right? Like getting the ball out of the hand of your starter, into the hand of your middle relievers, into the hands of your highest leverage relievers, closers or otherwise. And this year, in 3 games, and this includes today, relievers from our pal Mitch Bannon, relievers have allowed 9 runs in 3 games from the 4th inning to the 7th inning. Now, that could be somewhat healed by simply getting better innings from your starter, right? And in 2 of 3 games to start the year, the starting pitcher was out after 5 and 3 innings. So that does not help by any means. But to Jen's point, the middle relief options right now have not looked very good.
Yeah, and listen, a 3-inning start from one of your starters, is that ideal? No. It's also not a surprise here, show. There were signs. There have obviously been things that we have been talking about with Max Scherzer, and that is what's baffling to me. It's that the contingency plan for today was going with Lovelady and Barnes. I just don't think that that is going to cut it, right? It's just not going to cut it, especially when you have someone like Wyrod in the bullpen who could have covered maybe a little bit more length. And sure, he didn't pitch extremely well. We saw what happened on opening day. But this is a guy that, one, was trusted enough last year to make several starts for this team and looked good in quite a few of them. And 2, could have covered some innings for you. And maybe you if you don't want to burn the high leverage guys with the lead that early on, then at least you have a bridge arm up who can provide you with a little bit more length so that you don't have to go through your pen so much. Great. That's just not... that's not what we saw, and that to me is what's baffling. And I think that as long as this Max Scherzer situation is hovering over the Blue Jays, so will the ghost of Ryan Yarbrough, which is pretty interesting to me. I think that the decision to let Yarbrough walk, it could have been pretty innocuous. It could have just flown under the radar. It didn't for obvious reasons, and it is pretty interesting to me that, so far, we talk about Scherzer almost always in the same breath we are talking about Ryan Yarbrough.
And Atkins did say when he spoke to the media that a reason for not keeping Yarbrough was they didn't want 2 bulk guys. Okay, fine. You don't always need 2 bulk guys. There are questions about how do you keep them both stretched out if they're not going to be pitching multiple innings like every single game, essentially. I think it's valid to say, but okay, then you still got to get better options than Lovelady and Barnes, unfortunately, right? Let's go back to the phones. 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go to Tim right here in Toronto. Tim, what's up? What's on your mind? Welcome to J-Stock.
Thanks, guys. I don't understand. We have Rodriguez as the long guy, and we don't put him in. We put in these 1-inning guys. And are we paying him like $5 million a year?
Yeah, he is getting paid a decent chunk. I got to look up to see what his contract is exactly. But I gotta admit, Tim, I was confused just to not see him at all, right? I do think why Jimmy Garcia and Hoffman, for example, got in here just because they hadn't pitched in a while. But at the same time, I'm as confused as you, man, why Rod didn't get in there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Lovelady doesn't... I think he needs to see Buffalo.
Yeah, hey, thanks for the call, Tim. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining us on Jays Talk. Yeah, there's actually a text here. Where was it? There's a text that just said, "Bye, love lady." That's all it says. That's literally the entire text. There's another one from Jane Regina. Love lady is the new Mitch White, which is tough because I think we were having similar-ish conversations towards the end of Mitch White's tenure as a Blue Jay. But, yeah, I mean, like, they got to replace, to a certain extent, different parts of the bullpen because they fixed one part, let other parts deteriorate to a certain extent to the point where if something like this did happen to a starting pitcher, and it's now happened to Scherzer, it was a concern going back to the last couple of weeks of the spring, and now you need to fix it on the fly. And look, the bullpen, I think, is fixable on the fly, and it might even be fixable through internal options, but it does beg the question, like in the spring, and I feel bad picking on Love Lady, honestly, but I mean, he did take the loss today, and he gave up 4 earned runs, so kind of no real choice, unfortunately, when your starter leaves with injury. But I mean, Mason Fluharty, again, I'll bring him up again because you know I was big on him in the spring, a lefty as well, right? Like they were kind of competing for for one spot with each other, Lovelady and Fluharty, maybe also Josh Walker as well, probably someone else in the mix there for that second left-handed relief spot. And they gave it to Lovelady instead. I don't know. I'm not sure I saw enough in the spring to say, we need to give this guy a 40-man spot and DFA someone else and make a 60-day IL roster moves and do all the procedural things just to keep Lovelady from becoming a free agent, essentially, when you kind of have Mason Fluharty, who had largely pitched pretty well in the minors, certainly this season in the spring, but also in the minors over the last couple seasons.
Right. And listen, we are not, obviously, I understand that this is an extremely small sample size. I understand that we have seen Lovelady twice, right? And there's still time for things to get better. There's still time for him to figure something out here. And I believe that, pitching in lower leverage situations should help with that a little bit. And this bullpen will eventually get better, right? Eric Swanson is going to come back. Ryan Burr is going to come back. Most likely, we will get to see someone like Mason Fluharty, if not this season, most certainly the next season. But with the way that things